live on KENS 5, but if you happen to lose power, we're also going to stay with you on this Facebook Live. So let's talk more about this tornado warning. Again, it is in effect through 4:15. It looks like they are going to continue this severe thunderstorm warning as well, with the tornado possible tag for Kerr County. So for those in Kerrville, it looks like the severe portion of this storm is just south of you. However, for those in downtown Bandera, the worst part of this storm should pass a little west of you. We are going to watch the track of this tornado warned storm, because any small change in the track, if it moves more southeast, it is possible it could impact portions of Bandera. I know we've had a couple of waves of showers and thunderstorms and severe storms at that the past couple of afternoons and evenings, but again, the best thing to do is put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. And the best thing too is also to stay away from windows. We could see potentially wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour with these thunderstorms. A lot of counties here in South Texas also under a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. this evening. So still several hours to go, about 6 hours on that severe thunderstorm watch. So they have issued a newly severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Bandera and Kerr counties. We just saw a new warning populate just west of this tornado warned storm, and they've also put a tornado possible tag with that. 1 1/4 inch size hail, so that's going to be about ping pong ball size hail, and wind gust up to 60 miles per hour possible. Yeah, so it looks like the primary concerns with these storms, of course, is the rotation. I'm going to pause it now and put on velocity just so we can see the rotation within these storms. This is what we're tracking, and this is why we do have that tornado warning in place. We're seeing some broad rotation just south of the Kerrville area. So if you're in Kerrville, it looks like you are in the clear. I would still stay in your safe place, since we're still looking at a lot of cloud to ground lightning with this tornadic storm, and severe thunderstorm warning at that. So there's the broad rotation. You know, Andrew Wilson and I, we've been showing a lot of our velocity maps along with Weather Chief Bill Taylor. And you know, typically when we show this, we like to find the rotation within this storm and also where the high wind gusts are located. So you can see center point on your screen. I'm going to zoom a little bit out here. There's Kerrville. Again, Kerrville is north of where this broad rotation is currently happening. So I'll circle the broad rotation here. So this is why we have that tornado warning in effect for this thunderstorm passing south of Kerrville right now. Again, we do have this tornado warning in effect through 4:15. If you are in the path of this storm, or if you are included in this tornado warning, and by the way, it looks like the National Weather Service has trimmed back on this tornado warning, so now it no longer includes Kerrville. So if you're in Kerrville, you are in the clear of the tornado warning. However, still stay inside. I'm going to put lightning on, and you can see a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes. So this is a very noisy thunderstorm and very electric at that. So remember, lightning's pretty deadly, and that's why we still want you to stay away from windows. So let's look at this tornado warned storm here. I'm going to look at the latest update with this tornado warning they have in place. It will continue through 4:15 for Bandera and parts of Kerr County, mainly extreme southern parts of Kerr County. It does not include downtown Kerrville anymore. I know we've had some hail potential and also some hail producing thunderstorms that also once again move through the Kerrville area. So this storm is moving south at 30 miles per hour. So now that I know the speed of this, and by the way, the speed is still pretty slow, let's put a tracker on it. And I'm going to put a tracker of this storm moving south at about 30 miles per hour. So if this were to impact Bandera, and I'm going to include Bandera in the path just to give you guys enough time to prepare and get into that safe place. It looks like it'll be in the Bandera area near Bandera Middle School about 4:25 p.m. Again, we also have Weather Chief Bill Taylor, meteorologist Andrew Wilson's helping Bill on air right now on KENS 5. But if you happen to have a power outage, we're right here with you. Make sure to charge the mobile devices. Again, we still have a lot of counties under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. Let's look at the storm to the west here. We're also looking at another area of broad rotation. and this is only a severe thunderstorm warning. However, the National Weather Service, they've included that tornado possible tag because clearly we're still looking at some broad rotation on velocity here. I'm also on Facebook Live. I'm looking at some of your questions. I just wanted to cover the basis and the updates of what we're looking at now. So if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Again, we'll walk you step by step through these thunderstorms. Donald, you're exactly right. Round 4 of these severe storms. We have Jillian Jade saying hello. Hilda, you want to know about Converse, Texas right now. We're not looking at Converse, Texas in the path of these storms. We're mainly focusing on both Bandera and Kerr counties. I've put a tracker here just to show where we're looking at that broad rotation within that tornado warning. And if it impacts Bandera, it could reach Bandera as early as 4:25 p.m. So right now you have about 25 minutes to prepare. Grab the bike helmets, baseball helmets, whatever you have. Protect your head. Go into that interior room and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and also stay away from windows. And for those that are just now joining us, I want to show you this severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect. This does include San Antonio, Bexar County as a whole, and surrounding counties until 10 p.m. But right now, as far as these severe thunderstorms and the tornado warning, these are outside of Bexar County, and they're taking more of a southerly track. I know we had some flood areas, some flood alerts going off, especially in Kerr County as well. These storms aren't moving that fast. They're moving very slow to the south at about 30 miles per hour. They kind of have that hooking shape on radar. So I am going to zoom out. Lake Hills, it looks like this tornadic storm will pass just west of you. But for those in Bandera, and if you have any family and friends in Bandera, make sure you give them a call and make sure that they head into their safe place and also stay weather aware. Charge the mobile devices. This is giving you a heads up. We still have several hours on this thunderstorm watch that's in place for many counties. So charge the mobile devices. That way you can stay tuned to our Facebook Live just in case you happen to lose power, and we'll give you step by step and also the latest updates from the National Weather Service on these warnings we'll see tonight. So we have a few of you asking about Helotes, Alamo Ranch, and Cibolo. Again, these storms are just west of the San Antonio area, moving south into Bandera County. Let's look at some of the local storm reports here. So again, a lot of these reports are from last night because they are within the last 24 hours. Let's actually look at the last 6 hours. So we have a few hail reports coming out of the Kerrville area. Let's look at some of these reports. Also a thunderstorm wind damage report, and that was at 3:40. So a train spotter reported estimated 60 mile per hour wind gust along with pea-sized hail near Lower Turtle Creek Road and Deer Park Lane. And again, the location of that about Kerrville, a little south of Kerrville, and that was in Kerr County. So the time of that report, about 3:40 in the afternoon. We've also seen several hail-producing thunderstorms. I'm going to click on a few of the reports we've received here. So 1.5-inch size hail, that was in Ingram there in Kerr County. Let's click on this one. So this is also in Kerrville, quarter-size hail being reported, and then also 1.5, so about ping-pong golf ball size hail. Let's look at the tracker, the hail tracker here too, just to see the latest on what these hail cores are doing. We're mainly looking at pea to quarter-size hail within these storms. But again, the primary concern, this broad rotation. And it looks like, I wouldn't be surprised if the National Weather Service maybe extends this tornado warning a little bit more east toward 173, and that also could include the Bandera area. Heads up to Comfort, and for those along I-10, the broad rotation that we're looking at, and I'll circle it here, that's the broad rotation, is moving a little outside of this polygon. But again, it looks like that rotation will stay a little west of the interstate. So we'll have to watch the track of this. Like I said, these storms could shift a little bit to the east, so that's why Bandera even though you're just on the outskirts of this tornado warning that's in effect through 4:15, stay inside and put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Judy, you have a question about Uvalde. What I'll do is I'll zoom out here, show you where Uvalde is in reference to these storms. I would watch it, but honestly, this severe thunderstorm warning and this tornado warning, those two storms with those warnings, they're not expected to impact Uvalde. What I would watch, though, are the additional showers and storms trying to develop near Camp Wood, over Real, and also Edwards County. So that's more west of the storm. So we have Faye reporting pea-sized hail in Kerrville, so thank you so much for that report. Barbara, if you're anywhere near Bandera, I would definitely, stay in a sturdy shelter and head to your safe place. What I'll do here, since we have some of you from Bandera, I'm going to zoom back in on this storm just to give you a reference. And I showed a timeline. Let's see what the National Weather Service, so they're still watching broad low-level rotation on the tornado warned storm near Camp Verde. So that's a little update. This storm is moving south at about 30 miles an hour. It's a slow mover. Not only are we looking at the potential for a tornado, which we haven't had any indication of a tornado on the ground, no reports of a tornado on the ground, but we could also have ping pong ball size hail. So that's going to be a little bit bigger than an inch in diameter. So now they're starting to talk about the convection, aka the thunderstorms, beginning to develop in Real County. So some of you had questions about Uvalde County. Heads up, we're starting to see additional showers and storms develop in Real County. That'll also take a southerly track. Looking at this latest radar scan, still not all that impressed with rotation. It looks like it's weakened a little bit, but these storms could, weaken and then strengthen again. They'll go through this cycle, so we'll have to watch this storm. I think they'll definitely continue it through 4:15. Still looking at somewhat rotation, but not as impressive. So again, I know you guys are asking about Bexar and Medina County line, what to expect. Again, a lot of us under a severe thunderstorm watch through 10 p.m. Right now, this is where the storms are packing a punch in our viewing area. It's over Kerr and Bandera County. So we have two warnings in place right now. I'll zoom out to give you an idea of where these warnings are located. A lot of us still dry right now. I know, on the way to work, just a couple of minutes ago, we're looking at ominous skies over San Antonio. We're actually seeing the clouds from our northwest. So that gives you an idea of the wind shear in our atmosphere. But, if you're seeing clouds in Bexar County and the ominous skies, it's from these storms to our northwest. So right now, these are the two storms that we're keeping track of. Again, if you're in Kerrville, you're in the clear of these severe warned storms and also that tornado warning. So Kerrville, you're in the clear, mainly just lingering showers at this point. Hopefully your property didn't have too much damage. I know we've had a lot of hail producing storms that move through Kerr County, so up to ping pong ball size hail, even up to 1.5 inches in diameter. So hopefully you didn't have too much damage to your property. I know we just had severe storms move through, last night. I have some of you asking about the Helotes area. This will pass just west of Helotes, so Helotes will not be impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, the time being 4:07, this warning runs through 4:15. The National Weather Service will let this tornado warning expire at 4:15, but they will replace it with a severe thunderstorm warning. Since this storm has a history of some broad rotation, which, by the way, the rotation has weakened in this storm, they're probably going to keep that tornado possible tag within this severe thunderstorm. And also within that warning that'll come out shortly for that tornado warned storm. So we also have an additional severe thunderstorm warning. We'll let this populate here and zoom down into it. I know this storm, so that's Bandera and Kerr County under a severe thunderstorm warning through 4:45. So that's just before 5 o'clock. And again, heavy rain. We could see some ping pong ball size hail with this storm. Some rotation as well. Let's check back in on what velocity is showing. Potentially some high wind gust, and this is going to be east of Lakey. And again, this is western Bandera County. So Bandera, still stay inside. We're still looking at somewhat broad rotation within the tornado warning. We have not had any confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground, but it looks like some very high wind gust, especially with the lighter greens that we're looking at within that severe thunderstorm warning. So we have 2 warnings in place. The tornado warning will expire at 4:15. Once that warning expires, they're going to replace it with a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag, since this storm has had a history of rotation. Now the severe thunderstorm warning, and that includes western Bandera County, they're likely going to trim Kerr County out of that warning here shortly, but that one's going to continue until 4:45. Let's go back to sweeping radar just to give you an idea of the heavy rainfall. Again, likely looking at very heavy rainfall rates, and these storms, they're not moving that quick. They could be producing rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches, maybe 4 inches per hour, and they're only moving south at 30 miles an hour. Again, Weather Chief Bill Taylor, he's been saying our soil is like a sponge right now. It's very saturated. So with this heavy rainfall, we'll likely get flash flooding with these storms over the next couple of hours. So just keep mind of that there. Let's turn lightning back on. Just a lot of cloud to ground lightning strikes. Still pretty noisy in the Kerrville area. Kerrville, if you live in Kerrville, still pretty noisy, but the good news is you're out of this tornado warning. So you're in the clear for the tornado warning. You're just not in the clear for the lightning. Still a lot of heavy rain. Comfort, a few cloud to ground lightning strikes in your area along I-10 there. So for folks along I-10, definitely not a good time to be on the interstate right now. Again, Weather Chief Bill Taylor, he's also on KINS 5. He's doing a live update. We're staying on top of these warnings until they expire. Again, we have this tornado warning that's in effect through 4:15. And if you're just joining us, we have about 4 minutes on this warning. And here you go, 2.96 inches of rain in the past hour, and that was just southwest of Fredericksburg in Gillespie County, and that's along Bear Creek. Let's put on flood alerts here. So we do have that flash flood warning in effect. So there's that flash flood warning. Flooding will be a hazard too. We have this flash flood warning for Gillespie and Kerr County through 8:15, so still several hours on that. Wow, 2.96 inches of rain in the past hour. So that was just southwest of Fredericksburg. And that's what some of our sensors recorded. I was just talking about the rainfall rates. These storms haven't been moving all that quickly. They are going to let this tornado warning expire. Let's go ahead and look at velocity again. Rotation's still broad, and it has weakened. A lot, but still some high wind gusts. It looks like the high wind gust will pass just west of Bandera. I'll zoom in here a little bit more. So, and bear with me, I don't want to move the map around too much. So if we were going to see high wind gusts, it's going to be in this area where we get the lighter greens. We've always been talking about the lighter greens, the lighter blues, the pinks, and the lighter reds. That's when we see that on velocity, which is one of our radar products that's showing us, damaging wind gusts could be a possibility. So heads up for areas, west of downtown Bandera. Again, Bandera, you are just on the outside of this tornado warning. We'll show the graphic up full just so you could get a better look of this. And while I'm doing that, while I'm showing velocity, I am going to look at some of your questions here. So Bethany Martinez, after this sale, will we be in the clear? I was just showing this. We'll go back to sweeping radar, zoom out here a little bit. Notice these new showers beginning to develop near Camp Wood. A lot of cloud to ground lightning also starting to increase with these small showers and thunderstorms. near Camp Wood. So that's telling us, you know, we have an environment favorable to support severe thunderstorms again. We've been stuck under this unsettled weather pattern for days. So, you know, we'll see additional showers and storms develop. It's still a possibility to have more severe storms tonight is what we're looking at. There's that newly issued severe thunderstorm warning. Like I said, they've let that tornado warning go, so that tornado warning was allowed to expire. However, they are going to extend this severe thunderstorm warning for Bandera. That includes downtown Bandera and Kerr, but south of Kerrville through 5:15. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail will be the biggest concern with this severe thunderstorm over Bandera and Kerr County. Since the rotation within that storm has weakened, we're not looking at that tornado tag with this severe thunderstorm warning. So that's good news there. The rotation has weakened, but we're still going to keep our eyes on it and monitor it closely. A lot of you, again, are asking about the Helotes area, 1604, a lot about Bexar County. What I want to show you here is that Bexar County and surrounding counties are under a severe thunderstorm watch. Have the KINS 5 app. Keep the radar in your back pocket. Also charge your mobile devices so that way you can use your mobile devices this late afternoon and also into the evening hours. This severe thunderstorm watch will continue until 10 p.m. And unlike yesterday, this actually includes Maverick County, Kenny counties, and Valverde counties. Uvalde, you're also included. I know some of you have been asking about Uvalde County, and this stretches all the way to our southwest. So a lot of counties still under the gun for some severe showers and thunderstorms this evening. So we still have several hours, and the reason is we have the environment favorable to support severe storms. Primary hazards tonight, you know, I think all modes of severe weather will be possible. We've had that tornado warning over Kerr County and Bandera counties. That was allowed to expire at 4:15. That tornado warning has now been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning. And the primary hazards now with this storm, I know it had some history of producing some broad rotation, but it looks like damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-size hail along with flash flooding will be the primary concerns. I just told you about a rainfall report here of almost 3 inches of rain in only 1 hour, and that was southwest of Fredericksburg and Gillespie County. These storms aren't moving really quick, so when you have high rainfall rates, you can definitely get that flash flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas. Gracie Rodriguez, you're asking about the New Braunfels area. I would just watch showers and storms starting to develop kind of northeast of Kerrville. We'll watch the track of those storms. Again, they're moving very slow, almost training over Gillespie County. So we'll keep our eyes on the storms just to your northwest. It is possible that they could nudge to the south and southeast. So, Rick, to answer your question, do we know the location of any tornado in Kerrville? So we haven't had any confirmation of a tornado in Kerrville. I've been looking at National Weather Service chat, and that's typically where we have our official reports. And I'll even show you our local storm reports. This was within the last 24 hours, but let's go back to the last 6 hours. So mainly looking at some wind damage there, some thunderstorm wind damage, and that report is only from 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. We haven't had any official reports of a tornado, but you know, the National Weather Service may survey some damage tomorrow in Kerr County. Going back through some comments here. Lacey, you would like to know if it's headed for Pleasanton. It's possible if, you know, these storms kind of extend out a little more eastward, we could eventually see some showers and thunderstorms impact Pleasanton and much of Atascosa County. Again, Atascosa County included under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. tonight. Lisa, you want to know, is Helotes being affected? Helotes is not being affected by this, and what I'll do is I'll get more of a metro view to give you guys an idea of where these storms are located. The rotation within these severe storms has weakened very quickly. But don't let your guard down. Even though rotation has weakened a little bit, Bandera, still stay in your safe place. Heads up to Hondo. The storm is moving in your direction. Storms are still moving on a southerly track at 30 miles per hour. What I'll do here is I'll put a track on this just to give you an idea. And I'll include both of these showers and thunderstorms here. And then I'll drop it south. This will pass just east of Uvalde. However, heads up to Uvalde, you'll have to watch showers and storms near the Camp Wood area. So Bandera High School about 420, Utopia about 423, Hondo about 437, Hondo High School just before 440. We have Sabinal at 440, Nippa at 443, and then Murphy High School at 446. We have meteorologist Andrew Wilson here as well. He's getting mic'd up. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm just about ready to go here, Megan. And we're also going to get the camera shot here set up in just a moment. So guys, just hold tight real quick. But again, yeah, you know, Megan, that tornado warning was pretty significant. But the National Weather Service took another look at it. They said, you know, the rotation started getting broader as it kind of dipped down through Medina or into Bandera County, and then eventually down towards Medina County. It looks like we still have the severe thunderstorm warning in place. And then we also have possibly some large hail associated with this storm.
And we've seen a lot of hail reports. I just showed the local storm reports over the last 6 hours. Wind damage report, and we had wind gusts up to 61 miles per hour, and that was in Kerrville, but also multiple hail reports down to a quarter. So quarter, 1 inch in diameter, that was the smallest hailstone size that we've seen with the hail reports here.
And Megan, if you want, I know we got NWS chat up. Let's also bring up the river stages. The Pedernales River is expected to now go into the minor flood stage in Gillespie County and then also Blanco County. That does include Johnson City. That does include the Fredericksburg area. The river's a little east of Fredericksburg, so it's not as much of a concern for the Fredericksburg, the town itself, but there could be some minor flooding there along LBJ National Park. This river actually rose 15 feet in just a couple hours last night. And now more heavy rain has fallen there. A lot of this rain that we have now is actually falling along the Guadalupe River in some spots. We were talking about that in Kerr County. That's something we're going to watch too. And actually, if we could pull up the river stages too. So guys, again, we do have the severe thunderstorm warnings in place. I'll let you take it away. But we also want to check a few things about the river stages because this is flash flood alley. The Guadalupe River is behaving itself. That's good. That's what we want to see. Does not look like it'll go into flood. But the Pedernales River, I mentioned this on TV just a moment ago, is expected to go into flood. And that's going to be minor flooding, again, in Gillespie County. First of all, I want to talk about Blanco County, which is further downstream. It's expected to rise to 16.5 feet, so that's going to be an extra 5 feet compared to where it's at right now. That's going to be minor lowland flooding along lower bridges and along LBJ National Park. Honestly, it's also minor flooding over towards our friends in Gillespie County, where the river is expected to rise from about 8 feet all the way up to maybe 23 feet. So I said rise 15 feet last night. It was expected to, but now it's expected to rise even higher. That's the concern here. It
looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning is coming for the storm near Barksdale along the Real and Edwards County line.
That's Camp Wood. That's an area
that
that's
had a
the
storm
big
we've been
night.
watching.
Yeah.
Let's zoom out here. So again, we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in place. You could see all the hail and the wind damage reports here. Interesting enough, you were talking about Gillespie County. Within the past hour, just southwest of Fredericksburg and Gillespie County, they've seen almost 3 inches of rain.
Wow, that is a ton of rainfall.
So that's why they issued that flash flood warning.
That's a lot of rain on top of an area that's already seen a ton of rain these last few days.
So the storm near Camp Wood, it's been strengthening, a lot more lightning strikes, even cloud-to-ground lightning that's been traveling for miles. Let's zoom down into some of these storms here. So Bandera, still pretty noisy for you. Stay inside, you know. We don't want you to go outside and get any pictures, but now there's that new severe thunderstorm warning. This includes Camp Wood, Edwards, and Real counties until 5:15. The time right now being 4:23, so a little less than an hour on that severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-size hail possible. and the storm is moving south even slower at 20 miles per hour.
Yeah, so really slow moving storms, and that's the concern here, guys. Again, this is flash flood alley. If you're newer to South Texas, flash flooding is going to be a concern with some of these storms. That's something that's more typical here. Now, the frequency that we've had severe weather, that's not as common. This past week has been a little bit of a different thing than we're used to with the frequency of severe weather. But the possibility for flash flooding, that's something not so uncommon here. I mean, it's something that we have more often, and we've got to watch closely, especially when we have slow-moving storms like these.
So we have a lot of you, again, is it still expected to hit Helotes and or Alamo Ranch area? I'll zoom out and I will include San Antonio for reference. There's Helotes on the map. A lot of these are traveling south, so at this point they're not expected to impact Helotes, at least the severe thunderstorm warning in effect. However, notice showers and storms beginning to develop north of Bernie and Kendall County. Those are the showers and storms Helotes will need to watch in Bexar County.
Yeah, because that's going to be the storms that are going to just kind of maybe brush over to the right side there. We're going to have to see if they can kind of move right a little bit more, but right now it is thankfully more of a southerly path. I say thankfully, that's thankfully for those in the Helotes area, but not so thankfully for the ones in Bandera and also down towards Hondo. I was just checking out some of the rotation on my phone. It doesn't look like it's as much of an issue.
It's weakened a lot.
But there you have those storms in Gillespie County, and yeah, you were saying Helotes could have to watch those pretty close.
Vanessa, you would like to know how Del Rio is looking. I know we have a lot of loyal viewers in Del Rio. Notice these showers and thunderstorms beginning to develop in northern parts of Valverde County. Watch those storms closely. Notice the storm that formed right over Camp Wood on the line of Edwards and Real counties. That didn't take many radar scans to develop quickly.
Yeah.
So heads up, you know, Del Rio definitely could see heavy rain, potentially maybe even a severe thunderstorm warning over the next couple of hours. So Vanessa, I hope that answers your question. And again, a lot of, you know, the hazards right now with a lot of these warnings will be the damaging wind gust and quarter-size hail.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, this is a ton of rain also associated with this. So again, lightning, you don't want to be outside for that. Straight line winds, don't want to be outside for that. And hail, you don't want to be outside for any of that. I mean, these storms are pretty serious. That's why we had the severe thunderstorm warnings in place in the first place. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a severe thunderstorm warning maybe issued.
For Uvalde, maybe?
Yeah.
Is that area?
Yeah, that.
Quarter-size hail in Real.
Yeah, the east side of Real County and then into near Lakey and then down towards Utopia. That's going to be northeast corner of Uvalde County, west side of Bandera County. I think we're going to see another severe thunderstorm warning issued. And I think this one that was initially the tornado warning, that's now a severe thunderstorm warning in Bandera, I think that will be left to expire as long as it continues to weaken. Still possibly some strong winds with that storm.
Right. I mean, look at the hail core north of Camp Wood, too.
They got a big hail core yesterday. You hate to see that they'll get it 2 days in a row. But, yeah, another big hail core heading into Camp Wood.
Love using the hail tracker. It really gives us an idea. And I think it did a great job on, you know, with where the hail core was and the radar estimates versus where we've had all the hail reports funnel in. So, I mean, it's been pretty on point.
Yeah, so again, this is going to be moving into northern Uvalde County right there. We're going to watch that closely.
Notice in Valverde County also beginning to see some hail core spike here. So Vanessa, you were asking about the Del Rio area, and a lot of these are taking a south-southeast track. So heads up, you know, Del Rio, it is possible for that area to receive some hail. A lot of you also asking about the Bernie area. You can go ahead.
Yeah, and on their way to Del Rio, these storms are going to go through the Devil's River State Natural Area. If anybody's out there, they need to go ahead and pack up and get back to their cars. From what I understand, it's one of the spots we've been wanting to check out, but from what I understand, it's about a mile to the river from the parking lot. So it's a bit of a hike. You know, people got to go ahead and pack up along the river and get back to their cars if they're at Devil's River State Natural Area. I know cell phone reception may not be great out there, but if there's a way that you can get in contact with your friends and family, now would be the time to do so.
And there you go. They have a significant weather advisory for northeastern Valverde County. Those were those little hail cores I was talking about, and it's because of the pea-sized hail. Actually, penny-size hail and winds up to 40 miles an hour possible.
There's
and there's
that
that
severe
new
thunderstorm warning that we talked about was likely going to be issued. And there it is, Real County down towards Uvalde County, now under a severe thunderstorm warning along the Highway 83 corridor until 5:15 p.m.
Notice we'll have to watch the track of these storms. I'm trying to not move the map around here too much, but I want to zoom out, show you the heavy rain that's just right over Fredericksburg. It's taking a crazy track right now.
Yeah, that storm is moving due east right over the Pedernales River. Guys, you know, the Pedernales River flooded back in October of 2018, much like the Llano River did, and they had major flooding issues along the Colorado River up towards Austin. That's a really slow-moving storm, and I think the Pedernales River is going, right now it's only expected to be in a minor flood stage, go into a minor flood stage, rather. You know, we're going to have to watch the Pedernales River real close to see if it ends up flooding even more, because that storm's going due east, and it's a slow mover.
It is.
Other rivers nearby there are the Blanco, which is expected to behave itself, and also the Guadalupe River is also not too far from there, which is also expected to behave itself. But if that changes, don't worry. We're going to keep you all updated. We're watching those rivers real close.
We have Mike asking about Ingram.
Ingram, Texas, you know, you had a big storm go through earlier on, but now I think things are going to start to quiet down in Ingram. We've got light to moderate shower activity, a little bit of thunder activity too, but I think things will finally start to quiet down for you there west of Kerrville. We're big fans of the Ingram area ourselves.
Yes.
We've gone up to check out Stonehenge a few times, so we're happy that things are going to start to quiet down for you.
Out in Bandera, strong winds. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of high wind gusts there. Let's actually zoom back in on this storm. I know it had a tornado warning at one point, and it didn't exactly include Bandera. That tornado warning was allowed to expire. Now Bandera, since this storm is making more of an easterly track, Bandera now under that severe thunderstorm warning through 5:15. Time right now being 4:30, so still a long time on this. Let's look at velocity to see where the wind is packing a punch here. So yeah, when we're starting to get the brighter greens, and that's on the west side of Bandera, likely getting some high wind gusts within here. Wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that there right along 16, and that's going to be moving south just on the west side of 173.
So we'll take this off. We still have a lot of you asking about the metro area.
Yeah, so let's zoom back out. Let's show everybody where San Antonio is. So a lot of questions about San Antonio, and honestly,
And Bernie.
we're going to have shower and thunderstorm activity in San Antonio. Right now, the severe risk just isn't there. You see they canceled the severe thunderstorm warning. That's closer on towards Bandera, stretching on down towards Medina County. They canceled that because the hail core just isn't as significant. Still some possible strong winds with this. This was also a tornado warning earlier on that, for areas that were closer towards Kerrville, stretching to Bandera, but that tornado warning was allowed to expire because the rotation weakened, and it looks like the storm has weakened as a whole, but still pretty strong.
I would just watch the rainfall rates with this. I think pea-sized hail, we could still see wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. We had a report of someone saying it is a little gusty in Bandera. A lot of cloud-to-ground lightning associated with this storm too.
Yeah, but not as much as when it was up in Kerrville. So that lets us know that the storm has weakened as it continues to dip south. That's good news. You want to hear us say that the storm is weakening. Something that I'm worried about, though, still is, you know, Johnson City, this is really more of the Austin area when we talk about Johnson City. But this storm going due east along 290, that's going to cross 281 near Johnson City and just north of Blanco. That's a lot of rainfall right along the Pedernales River, and I'm happy that it's not falling on the Blanco because that would be a ton of rain just right on top of it. But, you know, we're going to let you know if that changes. But again, that's a lot of heavy rain and a pretty noisy thunderstorm moving east of Fredericksburg towards Johnson City.
Looks like half-inch hail likely, half-inch size hail in Camp Wood, so that's going to be a little bit smaller than a quarter, about nickel size. And they've also issued a flash flood warning for Gillespie County until 8:30 p.m.
So that's going to be a new one. So Gillespie County already had a flash flood warning, I believe. But now they've issued a new one that's going to include, I think, additional areas of Gillespie County due to the heavy rain, likely areas that are on the east side of Gillespie County heading towards Blanco County. And if that rainfall picks up and stays up, I'd be willing to bet they issue a flash flood warning for parts of Blanco County. That is if the storm holds together.
Notice how storms are blowing up northeast of Bandera up into Kendall County. I think some of those showers and storms could impact Bexar County here in the next several hours.
Yeah, so we are seeing storm growth, and let's go ahead and circle that for you guys. We are seeing storm growth kind of within this area. Now, it's not significant storm growth, so, you know, moderate to heavy shower activity and a little bit of thunderstorm activity too, but not as powerful as the storm that's in Bandera County or down towards dipping into Medina County. Definitely weaker, but we're going to watch that close to see if it does strengthen.
And heads up to those in Valverde County and also Del Rio. Watch these thunderstorms. This is a great circle I'm drawing, by the way. Watch these thunderstorms that are beginning to develop there.
Yeah, those are going to be the ones that are going to head down towards Del Rio and eventually maybe even brush along Maverick County towards Eagle Pass. By the way, you know, all this heavy rainfall, it has done some good. We wish we could get the rain without the severe weather, but we have had major improvements in the drought monitor that came out today. It doesn't even factor in, though, all the rain that we had since Tuesday at 7 a.m. It only factors in everything before 7 a.m. on Tuesday. So with that new rainfall that we got yesterday and really the last 2 days, that's going to be in next week in our drought monitor update.
Wow, that's improved.
Yeah, Goliad County, B County, you're going to see major improvements. Anywhere that you see in yellow for Uvalde and Medina County, Bandera, Kerr County, all that's going to be gone. I'm pretty sure.
Remember, we had pockets of extreme drought in Eagle Pass in Maverick County, and now we're down to severe. Bexar County, for the most part, out of even abnormally dry drought conditions. This is good news.
Yeah, huge improvements. We love to see that. We just wish we could get the rain without any severe weather to go along with it, but unfortunately that's the case for this past week. We've had a lot of strong to severe storms.
We have.
Hail has been a big issue. We've had straight line winds. We've had some flooding. And even had a confirmed tornado back on Sunday night. It was Sunday night,
It was
correct?
Sunday evening, and it was near Helotes in the Wild Horse subdivision. We had that EF1 tornado confirmed just outside of Helotes, right along Palomino Path. I think the track of that, I know the maximum winds were about 100 miles per hour, but the track was a little less than half mile.
Yeah, a little less than half of a mile, so not on the ground for very long, and that's what we expected. If we had any confirmed tornadoes, it was looking like there would be brief spin-ups, and that was the case.
Now I want to look at a few of our sites here just to see where we are with rainfall so far.
So again, guys, while she's looking that up, I want to talk a little bit about what we have out there. San Antonio currently not under any warning. So we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that we're watching pretty closely. Does that include Bexar County until 10 p.m., right?
It does, and surrounding counties.
Right, so surrounding counties of Bexar County too until 10 p.m. for these strong storms that we're tracking. You notice the heavy rainfall associated up towards northern Uvalde County, dipping out of Real County. We could have even up to quarter-size hail in some of those storms. And that one that's closer to Camp Wood, maybe even up to golf ball-size hail, at least associated with her earlier on. And we're going to continue to watch those two storms real close.
So we have a question. Gary, you were asking about San Antonio Airport. I'm actually going to pull up the rain sensor that we have at the airport. I showed this yesterday. So this month, and this was last night, we had about 4.5 inches of rain. Now today, month to date, 5 3/4.
Wow.
So a big difference compared to yesterday. Departure from normal, a little over 2 inches above normal. And since January 1st, a little over 13 inches. Look at that yearly rainfall. Yesterday I showed a little under 12, and now we're over 13 inches.
Wow, so we have really caught up just in the past week. A week ago we were behind by a full inch for the month of May and for the year in rainfall, and now we're ahead big time for May and the year.
Yeah.
So lots of rain. It's been much needed, but again, you just wish you could get it without the severe weather.
So one thing I want to do here, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to turn on velocity, and I think we need to keep our eyes on this storm north of Uvalde.
Yeah, I see that too. There's a little bit of rotation, and we don't see it as much from the Bracketville radar site.
Zoom over
So
a little
maybe
bit.
it's when we take the radar site in New Braunfels, which looks a little bit further away,
Yeah.
and we can see some rotation. Now, this is what that lets us know. If we see rotation from a radar site further away, that lets us know that there's rotation high up in the storm.
Right.
And if the storm continues to strengthen, sometimes that rotation can make it to the surface. So we know there's rotation high up in the storm, and we'll have to watch that closely to see if rotation does make it down to the surface in that storm just west of Utopia, moving south along 83.
I think the hail core, though, near Camp Wood, up to tennis ball size hail
Yeah, maybe
near
even
Camp Wood.
baseball in an isolated area. I mean, let's zoom down a little bit to that. I think I'm seeing a little bit of reds. That's huge hail.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be west of 55, moving due south into the very northwest corner of Uvalde County.
So that's going to be, larger than 2 inches in diameter. We're talking 2.5 inches potentially within this radar estimated hail core. Even the National Weather Service is on board with raising the hail size within that severe thunderstorm warning up to 2.5 inches. And again, that's going to include Edwards, Kinney, Riel, and Uvalde's counties through 5:15.
Yeah. I'm seeing what people have to say. How about anything for New Braunfels? Anything headed our way? Nothing right now for you, Terry. We're going to watch that close. Brianna wants to know, so nothing for Pleasanton. Brianna, as of right now, nothing for the Pleasanton area. Questions about the San Antonio airport, nothing for right now. But again, some of this stuff can change, guys, as time goes along.
Right.
What about Helotes? Dawn, the answer is right now, no issues for you, but we do have some showers and storms just off to your north and west that are going to make for some noisy conditions possibly over the next hour or two, and possibly some rainfall. We're going to watch that closely. Juanita wants to know, is Bracketville going to get it also? I think this storm is going to stay just east of you, the one we're watching now.
That's what I was going to say.
But we could see more thunderstorm activity form and head towards Bracketville.
Definitely. I mean, this storm, it didn't take much, and it didn't take a while to form over Camp Wood. And now we're looking at up to baseball, even tennis ball size hail within that hail core.
Jeanette wants to know about Zavala County. Most of these storms are well north of Zavala County, but they could dip south further towards your area. We'll see if they hold together as they move south. Right now, they're still well far away, though. Down towards La Pryor, they've got a long way to go, and we'll see if they hold together. That could still be about an hour and a half before they even arrive to the Uvalde-Zavala County line.
We have, what about Pearsall? If these storms hold together right over Utopia now, Pearsall, just a heads up, over the next several hours, you could also see some of these thunderstorms packing a punch over the hill country.
Yeah, so guys, a lot of these locations that people are asking for, these storms could impact. They're just really far away. So last night, we were up here till about 2:30 watching a storm that was dipping down towards La Pryor, but it collapsed, thankfully, right before La Pryor. And we can only hope that's the same case again tonight. These storms are really slow movers, though.
Yeah, I mean, the one over Camp Wood only moving south at 20 miles per hour. So that's why I say several hours until, they could move into La Pryor and Pearsall if they hold together. But, La Pryor and Pearsall down into Maverick County, that includes Eagle Pass. You guys are also under that watch through 10 p.m. We still have them environment favorable to support severe storms, so they'll likely hold together and make it to La Pryor and Pearsall.
Yeah, so we're going to be watching those real close, guys. And again, these are the only 2 severe thunderstorm warnings we have in place at the moment. One severe thunderstorm warning is in place until 5:15 p.m., so still has about 30 minutes left on it. The other severe thunderstorm warning near Camp Wood is also until 5:15 p.m., so still about 30 minutes on it. And that one closer towards Camp Wood, that's our one that's a little more intense. The one near Lakey is along 83, has only about pea-sized hail. It's really weakened. But I think our strongest storm out there right now is the one in Camp Wood. And let's take a wider look out.
They have a new severe thunderstorm warning in Valverde County, so that's north of Del Rio. Remember, I was just talking about those storms beginning to pop up, so now the hill core has grown in size. This is several miles north of Del Rio, but now we're potentially looking up to quarter, even ping pong ball size hail.
And that hail core, I believe that is the Devil's River that is moving along right now, and I think it's moving over Devil's River State Natural Area at the moment. So heads up, if you're out towards that way, the hail is about to move right over that area.
We could also see some gusty winds over the Campwood area. I'm looking at velocity here on my phone.
All right.
Likely seeing, some brighter greens with radar. So that's telling me we could have gusts, 50, 60 miles an hour there.
So let's take another closer look down towards that storm. Again, I think this may be one of the strongest storms in the entire state at the moment. Camp Wood had that same incident last night where they had the strongest storm in the entire state. And here we are again. I mean, southeast Edwards, southwest Real, northwest Uvalde County, that seems to be where some of our strongest storms have been over these last, I'd say, about 12 hours or so.
So several rounds of rain. And, in 24 hours, I was talking about, we did team weather coverage Monday night, and Bernie picked up over 5 inches of rain in 24 hours.
That's a ton of rainfall in a short period of time. And,
right.
Thankfully, we haven't had too many reports of flooding. The only river that we are currently watching for going into flood is the Pedernales in Gillespie and Blanco County. So that eventually does drain into Lake Travis, which is up towards Austin along the Colorado River Basin outside of the Kent Spot viewing area. But of course, we're going to watch it closely. Pedernales Falls State Park, that is located in northern Blanco County. It is expected to have some minor flooding through there, some high water going up over the falls. So anybody out there needs to go and heed those warnings and stay away from the river.
We have a lot of you asking about the Hondo area. Let's zoom out just to give you an idea of where Hondo is. So we're still looking at thunderstorms north of Hondo. Again, they're in Bandera County, at least the core of that storm is. Let's turn lightning on. Still, if you're looking north and you're in Hondo, even in Sabinal, Uvalde, you're likely seeing some gloomy clouds off into the distance and potentially some lightning as well.
Yeah.
So those storms, still a lot of lightning. We'll have to see if this storm strengthens a little bit over Bandera again.
And storms have made their way into Bernie, where we have a little bit of lightning activity and some heavy rainfall.
Good point.
But I'm not seeing too much in the way of hail with that storm. Let's go ahead and put hail on. I think this storm in Bandera County is about to do something similar to what that storm up in Gillespie County was doing, and that's making a bit more of an easterly path. So this may be impacting northwest Bexar County. Notice the hail tracker. We're not seeing hail as a big threat there. It looks like maybe pea size or smaller, which is good news. So a lot of lightning, some heavy rainfall, but that's all that's really associated with it. It is not a severe warned storm, and I think if it takes that due easterly path, it's going to be a similar storm to what's going on in Gillespie County, where we don't have any severe qualifications in that storm. It's just lightning and rainfall, but it's also heavy rainfall, and I think if it goes due east, we could have it as a slow mover, and we'll have to watch the rivers closely. Now, those along Medina Lake, are saying, oh, good, a lot of rainfall. We need it. Because, Medina Lake needs a lot of rain. They right now, the lake at 68% full. They need more water in the lake. Just hopefully we can get that without any flooding concerns to go along with it. So we'll watch that storm closely. This storm would also move into northwest San Antonio if it does take a further easterly path. Helota's probably already hearing thunder.
And it looks like, you're right, it is taking more of an easterly track. So we have David, JJ asking about San Antonio. We could see the storm over Bandera making more of an easterly track and eventually impact San Antonio.
Yeah, and as long as it takes that easterly path, I think we're going to see that this storm won't be severe when it goes into San Antonio. Now, that's not a guarantee. I think we won't see this storm be a severe storm. I think as it makes more of an easterly path, we'll just have heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning. But that's not a guarantee. Again, this storm could intensify a bit more, and we may end up seeing a bit of hail with it, but right now, hail not much of an issue.
So I zoomed into Bernie just to give you an idea of what we're looking at in Bernie. Non-severe showers and storms, just a lot of cloud to ground lightning, brief rain at that. So could be more on and off rain activity. Well, we had a latest radar scan and still not looking at anything strengthening over the Bernie area. Definitely hearing some loud thunder in Bernie, though, along I-10 up into Center Point, again, west of Bandera, down into Lake Hills. We have some lightning north of Scenic Oaks, so if you're in Scenic Oaks, heads up. Cross Mountain down into Helotes, Timberwood Park, and also Hollywood Park. We'll watch these storms northwest of you. Andrew, you've been talking about how they're making more of an easterly track, so it could impact those communities that I just mentioned.
Yeah, and I say that it would be slow moving because something we've seen today, Megan, is that the storms that end up having a more easterly path to them tend to be a little bit slower movers. The south moving storms tend to be a little bit quicker, but those that drift east tend to be a little bit slower movers, and I think the National Weather Service may have a speed on this for us.
So it looks like it's moving south at 25 miles per hour.
So it maybe just be back building. Maybe that's what we're seeing. So maybe drifting south, but also back building. But that would let us know that if it's back building to the northeast, we still have some more rain associated with it.
And apparently an outflow could also cause 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so keep that in mind too. I'm
going to see if I can see that on some of my other radar products here, guys.
While you're doing that, we have Tiffany Falcon reporting marble and golf ball size hail in Camp Wood. Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, as of right
Tiffany,
now,
there's been so much hail out there towards the Camp Wood area. I'm so sorry that y'all are dealing with it again. But yeah, big hail up there towards Camp Wood. That's the largest hail we have in the area at the moment, moving south along Highway 55.
So we'll put this up full just so you can see the hail cores with these storms.
Yeah, so again, the biggest hail that we have at the moment is with that storm in northwest portions of Uvalde County. You see a little bit of maybe marble-sized hail in northeast Uvalde County near Utopia. You see marble-sized hail kind of closer on towards Bandera, maybe about pea-size even. And you don't see anywhere else. I want to zoom out just so y'all can see that. I know a lot of people are asking questions. I say nowhere else, but we do have some nickel-sized hail possible in parts of Val Verde County. So again, that main hail issue is going to be what we have happening right now in northwest portions of Uvalde County and kind of moving out of the Camp Wood area. Montel, down Highway 55, you're going to be impacted by this. You were impacted by large hail last night. Further areas down 55, I'm trying to see some more spots. And you know, guys, while I'm going to let this loop, I'm going to zoom out, then I'm going to check something here. I'm going to check the river level for the Nueces River because we've had a lot of rainfall there along the Nueces, and I want to see if there's any issues. By the way, that severe thunderstorm warning closer towards Utopia along that 83 corridor.
It's expired.
Has expired, yeah. The National Weather Service actually went ahead and decided to cancel that warning just because the storm does look like it has weakened just a little bit there.
And it looks like the hail core, as far as the hailstone size, it went down to pea-size hail.
Yeah, which lets us know the storm is a lot weaker, but still pretty strong in the Camp Wood area.
Joseph Payne wants to know, how are the tornado chances for San Antonio? I saw a warning early up north. As of right now, Joseph, we have no tornado warnings in effect. We will show San Antonio to give you an idea. Don't let your guard down. You know, we could have brief spin-up tornadoes as one of the main hazards this evening. Again, a lot of counties, and that includes Bexar County as a whole and surrounding counties, under a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. All modes of severe weather possible. We still have a flash flood warning in place for up over the hill country. That's going to include parts of Gillespie County down into Kerr and Bandera counties right around 8 p.m. But right now it looks like this is one of the strongest storms in our viewing area. We also have storms beginning to develop in Val Verde County. This is well north of Del Rio. These storms are moving very, very slow. I mean, only south at about 20 miles per hour here. So still packing a punch, still seeing some high rainfall rates there. Let's see, we could also, I know some of you were asking about Hondo, 52 mile per hour wind gusts possible in Hondo due to an outflow boundary moving through. And again, that storm has weakened over Uvalde, so that storm was, that severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire. Some of you are also asking about Brackettville. Let's look at this 2-hour loop. Notice storms are in a favorable environment, so it doesn't take long for these storms to get going and get their act together here. Still looking at a lot of lightning with this storm north of Brackettville. So this storm north of you could definitely impact you in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, we had talked about how Brackettville didn't have anything heading their direction, but we could see more thunderstorm formation formation off to the north, and there it is. There's the thunderstorm forming just off to the north of Brackettville, definitely intensifying quickly, similar to what that Camp Wood storm did. So we're going to have to watch that closely to see if any hail formation is possible. This storm could also get close to Del Rio.
By the way, Lauren and Brian, thank you so much. Again, it's not even a year in South Texas, but apparently it's Nueces.
Nueces. Goodness. Thank you so much, Nueces. Again, we are newer to the area, as Megan has said. I'm from Mississippi, so the way that we pronounce things over there is sometimes a little different. Just yesterday, Scott, one of our loyal viewers here, Scott, told me that it's not Kosciuszko, it's Kosciuszko. He said it's Polish, but in Mississippi, it's actually Native American Kosciuszko. So different parts of the world, of course, people say different things. We're used to saying things differently, just depending on where we're from, but it's the Nueces. Nueces. I'm never going to forget that. Thank you so much.
We have Rhonda Tanner asking about Hondo high winds. What are we looking at? Rhonda, we have showers and storms just north of you, not severe warned, but you could get some gusty winds, especially since we had that outflow boundary move through. So when we're talking about an outflow boundary, think of a mini cold front brushing through and bringing winds up to 50, 55 miles per hour, below severe limits, of course. But, the high wind that you just experienced in Hondo, that's from an outflow boundary. But as far as the storms, they're still north of you.
Wow, look at these storms just collapse. Watch this. If we look up towards Kerr County, look at how dense the storms are, and watch as they just kind of collapse and move down to the south.
Yeah.
They're almost kind of riding a line of an outflow, it looks like now, and that's moving into Utopia, dipping down along 83. Highway 90 is going to be pretty messy here within the next hour. That's really anywhere along Highway 90 west of the city. We're going to see some showers and storms pass through.
Let's look at a few other questions here. Anna Mendoza says, I love the rain.
I like the rain too. I just don't like it with severe weather. So I'm a big fan of the rain myself.
And we have Joe and Michelle wondering about downtown San Antonio. So let's put downtown San Antonio into reference here. We're still seeing these showers and storms making more of an easterly track, southeast.
Yeah, probably really noisy in the Bernie area. And honestly, we're about to see a ton of thunderstorm activity pick up in Bernie because this storm does look like it's trying to drift a little bit further on to the east. That would mean that it is going to get very wet along the I-10 corridor, already getting a little wet in some spots, but it's going to be really messy there, stretching from Bernie through Fair Oaks Ranch, possibly even all the way down to the rim over the next 30 minutes.
So Anne's saying, when I moved here from Michigan, I pronounced everything wrong. Took a while to get it down, so hang in there, Megan and Andrew. You'll get it. We'll help.
Yeah, something tricky about where I'm from. I'm from Mississippi, where everything has kind of more of a French twist to it, being so close to Louisiana, or Native American. So here in South Texas, things typically have more of a Spanish twist to it, or even German.
Yeah.
But that's been kind of a trick for me, trying to figure out how to pronounce things correctly. Guys, hold us accountable. If I say something incorrectly, give me a heads up because I want to say it right.
That helps us, yeah. That helps us get to know the area.
Nueces. I'm never going to forget that.
And I used to work in Waco, Temple, Killeen before San Antonio. So Salado and Salado, a little bit different. Also Brazos and Brazos, different. So those two areas, very close, but also pronounced differently in some areas.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for your help in making sure and holding us accountable, helping us make sure we say everything properly. So this storm in northern Kinney County, I want to get a closer look at it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hail track. You see a lot of heavy rain and a lot of lightning that's popped up quickly. Looks like I think they are going to end up severe warning this because it now looks like we could have quarter-size hail associated with it.
I could definitely see that. So when we have quarter-size hail, that typically means 1 inch in diameter, and that's one of the criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. So we'll have to see if the National Weather Service will issue.
Yeah, so we're going to watch that storm closely too. Right now, nothing coming in for that from the National Weather Service, but we still do have that severe thunderstorm warning now south of Camp Wood, the Montel area, about to see some large hail. I think the largest of the hail will stay just off to your west, but you're still going to have maybe up towards quarter-size hail in Montel as the storm drifts south along 55.
Al, I thought you were messing with us because he said Lakewee, and I'm like, that is not right. But he said, dang, autocorrect, it's Lakey, so we've been pronouncing it right.
Lakey. Yeah. Okay, excellent.
Thank
you so much.
Oscar Violet wants to know, any heavy rain, hail, or tornado heading to Divine? Let's zoom out here and give you an idea. So right now, there's Divine on the map. We'll put on radar here. We're not looking at any tornado warnings. In fact, the only 2 warnings are severe warnings, and one over Valverde County and one that includes mostly Uvalde County, but also a little sliver of Kinney County there.
Yeah, and honestly, that larger hail core looks like it's going to be brushing up right there down the line of Kinney County and Uvalde County, right along 55, actually just to the west of 55, where we're seeing that larger hail core. So if you know you live on that Uvalde County and Kinney County line, if you know where you live, if you know where that line is, you know exactly where we're talking about. But again, just west of 55.
Let's bring it into West San Antonio because I'm noticing heavy rain beginning to move in.
Helotes
Heads up,
about
Helotes.
to get that rain. Yeah.
And some of you are commenting how it's looking a little dark in some areas in western Bexar County. So Scenic Oaks likely getting some sprinkles or maybe even some light rain in your area. Helotes, the heavier rain is just west of you. Looks like we have Weather Chief Bill Taylor doing an update right now. He's talking about some of the hail cores within these storms.
Yeah, don't forget, guys, we're on TV right now, too, because it is 5 o'clock. So Ken's 5, we're on right now, CBS affiliate here in South Texas. Be sure to tune in. We have the 5 o'clock newscast going on. We don't just have updates on the storms going on right now. We also have updates on the storms that occurred yesterday. And we're going to be talking all about that, of course, all throughout our evening newscast. We have multiple crews out across South Texas. We've got the 6 o'clock news coming up, and then also the 10 o'clock news later tonight, where we may still have some strong storms out there. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 10 p.m.
Right, so still several hours. Of course, we have eyewitness news at 10 p.m. We have a comment here about Al saying thunder is stronger now in Helotes. So
I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, let's put on lightning here.
We have a lot of lightning just northwest of Helotes at the moment. So Medina Lake really covered up in rainfall at the moment, and that's going to continue to kind of fall on Medina Lake over the next 30 minutes here. Dark on the drive home from work on 410 between Brooks City Base and Palo Alto College.
We have Mississippi gets hail. Now Texas, on the other hand, everything is way bigger, including the storms.
Yeah,
listen, we went to school at Mississippi State. I don't know. The tornado threat in Mississippi, that's a little bit higher as far as this area.
I think it was 63 tornadoes reported in one day in Mississippi last April or 2 Aprils ago. We've had a lot of experience with tornadoes and severe weather and straight line wind events as I was growing up back home, but hail is bigger in Texas for sure.
Yeah.
And that actually has to do a lot with dry air that typically is in the mid to upper levels out here in Texas, this part of Texas in particular. When you get that drier air in there, it allows for cooler tops of the clouds. We call it evapotranspiration. Kind of a bigger word there, but kind of a little bit of science. That moisture gets tossed up, it evaporates quickly at the top of the cloud, and that hail, of course, tosses up there too because it's so cold, and then you get large hailstones to form, and that's why we have some of the larger hailstones here in South Texas. You don't only have the energy throwing the hail up higher in the storm, but you also have that spot where the hailstones can get a little bit larger in a lot of the storms, like what we have closer on south of Camp Wood now.
Now, as far as large hail, that's not going to be the case with thunderstorms moving over Bandera and beginning to move into western Bexar County. So Scenic Oaks, Cross Mountain, I would say this will stay north of Helotes, but we could potentially see some pea-sized, maybe even smaller hail associated with these non-severe storms beginning to move in. I know some of you are reporting, it's getting a little loud in the Helotes area, definitely hearing a few rumbles of thunder in Cross Mountain up into Scenic Oaks and even the Bernie area. So I've put on the hail tracker for you because I'm sure a lot of you are going to ask if there's a hail threat with the storms beginning to close in on western Bexar County. Bernie, maybe some pea-sized hail, but it looks like this will pass just south of you.
Yeah, and hail, again, not too much of an issue. This is not a severe warm storm. all that we're talking about here in the storm heading towards Helotes and parts of northern Bexar County into Scenic Oaks and Fair Oaks Ranch. This is going to be some gusty winds. Yes, nothing severe though. We're going to get some heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning. Maybe some really small hail, but nothing damaging. Now, if the storm does intensify, the National Weather Service will severe warn it, but right now they're seeing exactly what we're seeing, and we're seeing that it's just a run-of-the-mill thunderstorm. Not something you want to be driving in still, because still really heavy rainfall. I mean, it's about to get really messy on some of the roads here across town. 1604 on the northwest side. If you have to drive in that area, get it done now. Try to get to where you got to be soon, because we're going to see some increased thunderstorm activity fairly soon within the San Antonio city limits. Do you have that 3-box of the sky cams, Megan?
Yes, good idea.
Let's go ahead and bring that up and take a look across the city.
Okay.
Ooh, looking gloomy out towards the airport right now.
The airport cam, I mean, the last couple of days, it has just been, I mean, really telling us a story of what's going on outside. Very low clouds. I wonder if we'll get a few lightning strikes on here. I haven't seen one yet.
I like how that storm broke off telling that other storm saying, I'm going to San Antonio. As long as he wants to come to San Antonio and just cause rain and not too much of it and nothing severe, that storm's welcome to come. But we don't want anything severe.
By the way, we have an Ole Miss fan on our Facebook Live right now.
We love Oxford. We love Oxford. We just not a fan of Ole Miss sports. Mississippi State graduates right here. 2 Mississippi State graduates.
More cowbell.
Yes, but we don't. We like Oxford, Mississippi. So
we have Hope Rogers reporting it's getting dark over in Seguin. Yeah, it's getting dark at the airport too. This is our San Antonio airport cam right now. Let's look at a few more. Let's look at Calaveras Lake here.
It looks like we can kind of see a little bit of a lowering in the clouds, and then you kind of see a break in the cloud cover up high maybe. That may be what we're seeing in the distance there.
And you know, when I was doing team coverage last night with Weather Chief Bill Taylor, we were watching the Calaveras Lake cam, and we saw an amazing lightning strike on this one.
Oh, wow.
Like I said, it's been telling us a story of what we're seeing outside the past couple of evenings. Right now, again, we still have this severe thunderstorm warning over Uvalde County, a little portion of Kinney County also included. These storms aren't taking a while to really intensify. It's only taken about 15 minutes or so. New warning coming out for Kinney County here. So
that's going to be that same severe thunderstorm that we saw the hail core growing in, and we thought that they may extend it. And it looks like this is a really interesting severe thunderstorm warning.
It is.
So the way that they drew it, they kind of connected the storm that's in the eastern part of Kinney County and northwest Uvalde County, and then the storm that's in the northwest corner of Kinney County. Now, here's why they did that. You notice the growth there kind of in a straight line across the northern side of Kinney County. I think they're expecting these storms to connect, and they're expecting it to grow by the time it makes it down to Brackettville. So if you're in Brackettville, heads up. Right now, it looks like hail cores may miss you, but now's the time to go ahead and get your property into a safe spot, because this hail core could impact one of these 3 hail cores. Could impact Brackettville. If you're along Highway 90 from anywhere west of Uvalde all the way to east of Del Rio, this is including you. So get your property to a safe spot, get yourself to a safe spot, as we could also have some stronger winds associated with these storms too as they dip south.
What's crazy is you could see this outflow boundary really well on this radar product I'm using on this phone. Not so much on this one, but let's go back to comments here. Marcus saying tons of wind here in Uvalde, but no storm near us. That's the outflow boundary. That's that mini cold front that just moved through, producing gusts up to 52 miles an hour.
Yeah, and outflow boundaries can tell us something about storms. Sometimes that tells us that the storm could be weakening because the downdraft is strong. But sometimes the updraft can be just as strong. You still have an outflow boundary. We're going to watch that closely. Outflow boundaries can tell us a lot about how our storm is doing, and whenever we have a lot of wind out ahead of it, sometimes those outflow boundaries can be damaging in themselves, but I think right now what we have in that area is a weaker outflow boundary.
Let's actually see if we can pick it up on velocity here. Yep, there it is.
A little bit. You see the green line and
a
little bit of a red line
so
close to the west of Brackettville.
Line here. Yeah.
Remember, the radar site itself that's looking at this storm is really close to this. So you see this little hole right here. That is the radar site right there. That is going to be looking at these storms and gauging what's going on. So right now it has a pretty good look at the storms. If you've ever driven Highway 90 from Uvalde, maybe from San Antonio towards Del Rio, on the right side of the road, you may see this big white dome. It's going uphill. That is the radar site. Megan and I have actually seen the radar. We always get pretty excited whenever we see a radar because you don't always see them right along the highway, but you'll see it right there just east of Brackettville.
So see that little thin line that just moved through Uvalde? That's the gust front that just moved through.
Yeah.
So that's what made it so windy, and some of you are saying it's windy, but there are no storms yet. That's because, you know, this gust front is well ahead of these storms. So you get that whoosh effect.
The whoosh, yes.
Yeah.
Hello from Eagle Pass. Are there any thunderstorms heading in their way? So the answer is that there are a few storms moving towards Eagle Pass. We'll see if they hold together, but it's not a guarantee. We do have some shower and thunderstorm activity just south of Kinney County, or southern Kinney County rather. We got thunder here at the station. So let's go ahead and check out the Bexar County area. Let's see where that lightning strike may have occurred. These storms are moving into northern portions of Bexar County now. In the medical center, we just had a little bit of a thunder rumbling ourselves. And sometimes it takes a second for the lightning strike that actually occurred to show up. It could have been some rumbling thunder from that lightning strike closer to 151 and really closer to 16 in Helotes. But sometimes it takes a second for the lightning to show up. I'm willing to bet that was maybe even within the 1604 loop.
Right, so I mean, we have lightning strikes traveling for miles here. I know some of you said it was a little loud in Helotes a little earlier, but now it looks like it's going to get even louder in Helotes. Probably not the best time to leave the house right now. Just wait for storms to pass. You don't want to deal with the blinding rain and the lightning out there. So, and also the winds. You know, storms aren't severe moving near Helotes, also Scenic Oaks and Timberwood Park, but we could still have gusts up to 40 miles per hour there.
I'm seeing hello from San Antonio. I'm heading home to Bernie. What is the weather like? Anything out there severe that I should know about? The answer is nothing severe, but it is a very noisy storm, a lot of heavy rainfall and a lot of lightning, so take it easy on the highway. If you wanted to wait about 30 minutes, that may be best, just because it is going to be pretty wet out there, pretty stormy.
So, I mean, there's kind of this pocket of dryness in Scenic Oaks right now, but rain is closing in northwestern portions of Bexar County.
I'm going to try to route a shot over from the top of the building.
I'm hearing thunder in Windcrest. Thank you so much for that report.
I'll check it out.
We have Cassandra reporting getting louder thunder now around Thousand Oaks and 281. Yeah, we're starting to get a lot of cloud to ground lightning. We have a very noisy, non-severe thunderstorm starting to close in really close to San Antonio right now.
Yeah, so a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain, and that's going to be moving over the medical center even here over the next 30 minutes. That's going to include us. So we may even take some power hits here at the station possibly over the next about hour or so due to all the lightning.
We have been the last couple of nights.
Yeah, and so San Antonio, charge your phones, charge your mobile devices. That's been the theme for this past week. Charge your mobile devices. If it's not charged right now, go ahead and charge it, and we'll of course continue to keep you updated right here. So I'm checking out a few things on our monitors. Our news director is actually going to head out, and he's going to give us a shot on top of the station, and I'm actually going to route that into our system here below us instead of just that rotating traffic cam. So we'll have that up in just a second.
Actually, can we bring up the traffic cam real quick here?
Yeah, we'll bring it up real quick. So
there's a lot of people on roadways right now, and especially if they're on the northwestern parts of Bexar County. I mean, they could potentially be impacted by this heavy rain, especially up closer to, I-10 leading up into Scenic Oaks. So you're heading northbound out of, the downtown area up towards Scenic Oaks into Bernie, getting some heavy rain there. So we could potentially see some delays on roads. The past couple of evenings we've been showing you our traffic cams, and a lot of people have been driving very slow with their hazard lights on, and also with their headlights on. That's what's likely going to happen here in the next couple of hours as showers move into Bexar County. I will say one thing though, looking at this loop, and this is a 2-hour loop, we're seeing a decrease as far as coverage here, so not as widespread as far as the rain. So that's moving into Lake Hills and also Helotes. Like I said, the rain coverage not as widespread as what it was, so it is breaking apart just a little bit here. Again, storms are non-severe. Let's put on the hail tracker because we have had some questions. I'm at 1604 and 90. Am I going to see, the same hail producing thunderstorms as last night? And as of right now, the answer is no. The only threat for hail right now is moving from Bandera into parts. This is actually well west of Cross Mountain. This is a pea-sized hail core, a little smaller than that. And of course, this is radar indicated right now. So we're not looking at, crazy hail cores like we were last night by any means.
Yeah, we did maybe have some larger hail, though, over towards portions of Riel County earlier on. But again, this is not including the Bexar County area. We are having some really gloomy conditions above our TV station right now, so that's kind of a live look. Right now, our news director getting the shot set up, so maybe a little shaky at the moment. Also, some really strong winds. We saw I-10 at Days of Allah, Megan. I just saw the rotating traffic camera actually showing a lot of the wind blowing around the camera there. So we're probably about to get hit with some gusty winds ourselves. It looks like there's some turbulence in the clouds there.
I could see that.
Sometimes you can see that, and some gusty winds as well to go along with that.
We have Brian Hartman reporting thunder getting louder in the Hondo area, slight wind and no rain. Thank you so much. We have John Nelson reporting power out at 1604. Thank you so much for that report. We have Tony saying it's thundering in Brook City base area now, a little lightning in the distance.
Yeah.
Let's zoom back out into in some of our western counties, because I know we have, Brackettville stuck under this severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to continue through 6 p.m. So we still have about 45 minutes or so on this warning.
Yeah. Seeing thunder getting louder in Hondo, slight wind, no rain. Power out at 1604. So we do have some power outages out there.
And Gilbert, we do not have any tornado warning right now. That was allowed to expire at 4:15.
Windy in Lacoste. So yeah, wind is picking up in a lot of places right now. Heavy rain falling on 131 now south of Brackettville. This is going to be moving into northern Maverick County. Now, Maverick County needs rain more than anybody else in South Texas at the moment. That's where we have the severe drought. That's where we had the extreme drought before. And it looks like we're going to see some improvement here with more rainfall. Now, we still have the drought over closer towards Victoria, but honestly, I think with the rainfall they've had more recently, that will go away within our next update next Thursday. But honestly, I think Maverick County still needs more rain, so that's good that they're going to get it. Let's hope that you can get the rainfall without anything severe.
Yeah, so we've seen huge improvements in the drought monitor, and that's just really great news there.
Yeah, because we needed the rainfall, guys. But again, still severe weather in some spots. So we just wish we could get it without it. Honestly, these storms aren't as widespread as what we had yesterday. Take a look over towards Bexar County, northern edges of Bexar County. We're talking Timberwood Park, Bulverde. Still a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity in that area. We still see it in southern Blanco County. And I've got great news. I've been talking about that heavy rainfall on the Pedernales River, located in eastern Gillespie County. That rainfall has collapsed, still raining along the Blanco River Basin now, down towards Blanco itself, not just Blanco County, but Blanco, Texas. Still raining there, but the rain is much lighter. If you're in Blanco, you're saying, yeah, right, it's raining super hard here at the moment. It's lighter than what it was before when the rain was further to the west. And it looks like that shower activity is weakening. We're also seeing the shower activity in northwest Bexar County, which, again, if you're under the rain, you're saying, yeah, right, it's raining super hard. That shower activity is weakening. And it's also weakening closer on towards Hondo in central Medina County.
We're also getting a few reports here. Gilbert saying big wind gust at 151 and 1604. We have some of you saying very windy and dark in the far west side of San Antonio, 1604 and 90 area. So thank you, Denise, for that report.
Yeah.
And then we have a few of you wanting to know about the Del Rio area. So let's go ahead and zoom back into Del Rio here.
Yeah, some big storms just off to your north north and east of Del Rio. I think that the main hail core will stay east of Del Rio, but we could get additional hail building into the west and possibly impacting your area.
Yeah, so let's zoom out a little bit here. So it looks like Valverde County, at least northern portions, not under that severe thunderstorm warning anymore. I'm curious to know how the hail tracker is doing. So they could maybe issue a new warning, especially since we're starting to see more of a hail core with the darker blues and lighter blues.
Yeah, near Seminole Canyon. That is, you notice, I'm talking about that closer on over towards in western Valverde County. I believe it's Seminole Canyon State Park. Maybe it's State Natural Area. But if you know what I'm talking about, there's a state park that's right there along Highway 90, and that's the spot we're watching. And Jack, thank you so much for getting those shots for us up on the roof. Yeah, we had a lot of wind up there. Again, guys, I actually just noticed that the camera had actually turned off there, so I'm going to bring back up that rotator traffic camera where we have had some gusty winds in parts of San Antonio already, especially on the northwest side, stretching into the medical center.
So we have wind just kicked up in Helotes, the Helotes area. Gary just heard thunder in China Grove, and we're also receiving a few power outages.
In China Grove, really?
Yeah.
So China Grove, that's the other side of San Antonio from where the rain is. Let's see if we've had a lightning strike kind of go across. They may be hearing that rumble of thunder from over towards the west side on 410, I guess, but that's the closest lightning strike. Sometimes you can hear that thunder really far away, so it's still possible.
I mean, now we're starting to get, lightning strikes closer within the main loop there on the west side of downtown.
Yeah, so thunderstorms are moving into San Antonio, guys. Nothing severe, maybe some small hail. We don't expect these to intensify big time as they move into the city. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to get any hail with these storms. We're not expecting what we had last night, though. I don't expect this storm to do what we had last night. Last night, by the way, if you're not aware, we did have some golf ball-sized hail to even lime-sized hail pass through parts of San Antonio. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. Now, Helotes, you may get a little bit of pea to marble-sized hail over
also,
the next.
Oakland Estates and Cross Mountain.
Yep, so this is also going to be impacting kind of close to our station even, possibly. But this hail core has been really small, and we'll see if it continues to shrink as it gets closer.
Maybe even some pea to marble size hail in the Timberwood Park area. It looks like this hail core will stay north of Hollywood Park, but of course we'll watch it. Looks like this hail core has gotten a little bigger in size as it approaches Helotes, so we'll keep our eyes on that.
Yeah, but mainly just heavy rainfall and a good amount of lightning with that storm at the moment. That's going to be getting close to 1604. Again, we don't want anyone out driving whenever there's hail, so if you have friends and family on the roadways, actually Holly Stouffer giving an update on the traffic at this moment on KENS 5. Make sure you tune in, guys, because we're trying to keep everybody updated on all the platforms. Again, Holly Stouffer on KENS 5 right now giving updates on traffic. We've got the 5 o'clock news going on now. Of course, there will be a bit of a break. If we have to cut into programming on TV, we will. But I believe it's Wheel of Fortune at 5:30, right?
Should be.
Yeah, Wheel of Fortune at 5:30, and then we'll have more stuff coming in at more news at 6 o'clock.
Thank you so much, Carissa. That's very sweet. She said, thank you both for doing an outstanding job on weather coverage. Thank you
no
for
problem.
that. Scott reporting no thunder. Misty saying thank you for the coverage. You're very welcome. So we've been seeing some, I guess, power outages. We have Bill saying, okay, I was just going to say we were without power, but that was short-lived, maybe about 15 minutes.
You know, I see Brian asking, what is causing these multi-day evening storms? And the answer is an area of upper-level low pressure that has just kind of sat over our region. It first started off as a trough that was swinging across the central part of the U.S., and then this upper-level low pressure got cut off from the jet stream. And there's this weak wave that's going to try to pick it up and take it away from our area over the next few days, and it looks like it will happen. We're all excited for that to happen because we're sick of the severe weather ourselves. You know, nobody wants to deal with the severe weather. The rain is great. We need the rainfall. But the severe risk we could go without. And thankfully, I think that it's going to be taken away here over these next couple of days. And we'll see our chance for rain to go down as well as our threat for severe weather. But for right now and into tonight, it looks like we still have that possibility of some strong storms.
Right, but nothing severe moving into western Bexar County right now. We have a few of you asking if you can run to Chick-fil-A real quick. Hey, if you're being impacted by the heavy rain, I'd say just wait it out a little bit. I personally wouldn't want to drive in this, but it's up to you. So.
We're getting reports of some rain in China Grove. Gary, I'm willing to bet that's pretty much light to moderate right now, but it will pick up to be even heavier if these showers on the northwest side make it to you. Because honestly, you can kind of see how these showers and the shower and thunderstorm activity in Bexar County is starting to shrink a little bit, which is good news. It's shrinking all the way over towards Medina County. Guys, just watch the loop. Watch it how all these showers and storms are weakening.
They're beginning to collapse.
Yeah. The only storms that are holding together are the ones in western Uvalde County. That, by the way, west of the town of Uvalde, and then dipping down to the south towards Maverick County. So those are the storms we're going to be watching over the next probably hour or two to see if they hold together. Of course, we're going to watch the storms in Bexar County, but the bigger storms right now are going to be the ones that are getting closer on into Brackettville near Kinney, in the middle of Kinney County.
Yeah, and it looks like they have upped the hail size just a little bit. And they're also going to put
for the storm in Kinney County, by the way. Yes.
Right, and so they're also going to warn the far western storm in northwest Valverde County. But the hail that I was just talking about, they've upped it to 1.5 inches in diameter. So that's that's a little bit bigger than quarter size, about ping pong ball size hail. And again, that's going to be over Kinney County. And then they'll put a new severe thunderstorm warning on the storms, you know, kind of beginning to develop quickly there over western Valverde County.
Yeah, so that's going to be the storm that I was talking about earlier near Seminole Canyon. That storm really does look a little bit stronger. I think it's going to be a little west of Seminole Canyon, but there could be a storm just north of the state park that I'm mentioning that could dip down towards that area too. We actually have video on KENS 5 that was just showing some of the thunderstorm activity. I mean, we have had a ton of lightning here recently these last few nights. It's been wild to see as it takes across the sky. It's been something that's been causing a lot of power outages and kept CPS crews busy. Another reason why we want everyone to try to avoid being out on the roadways is because CPS has been out working really hard. Give these guys some extra room. These guys and gals who are out working on the power lines and trying to get power restored across the city whenever there is a power outage, make sure you give them some extra room.
We have Sonia saying our power went off and on a few seconds. I'm in Helotes. Is it getting bad here? I would say there's definitely, you know, a lot of lightning in the Helotes area. And I also want to touch on this lightning and thunder in Devine. It's off in the distance, but close enough to see and hear. Yeah, so there's Devine. It looks like the thunderstorm activity is starting to move into Hondo for reference.
Yeah, but man, those storms have really shrunk. Those storms may not even make it to Devine, to be honest. I mean, they are falling apart, which is it's good news because we want to see these storms continue to weaken, especially as they move into these kind of more populated areas. Helotes probably seeing a good amount of lightning at the moment, though.
Oh, definitely. I mean, you can't even see the storm because there's so much lightning.
What's the latest on that hail core, Megan? Let's take a look at the hail core. Okay, so we could have up to nickel-size hail even along Highway 16 moving into Helotes at the moment.
We have Misty Grant saying, hi guys, what can we expect in Airport and Stone Oak area? We're basically just watching the storms moving into the Helotes area now, and if they hold together, which a lot of these storms have been showing weakening, however, we're beginning to see this hail core kind of increase a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's telling us this storm has a good chance of staying together and moving into central Bexar County, so that includes downtown.
Yeah, so guys, that's good to know. There is a little bit of intensity to this storm. We could have a little bit of hail. Nothing severe warned with the storm in Helotes, but we're going to be watching that hail core close as the storm dips down into San Antonio. So we could have about peat and nickel-size hail going within the 1604 loop. And let's watch the loop too right here below us, Megan. I think we're going to get a good look at 1604 and 16 possibly. But that hail core will be approaching. We've got a lot of people out on the roadways. If you know any friends or family who are out driving right now on the road, maybe give them a phone call. Say, hey, you may want to get to where you want to be quick because they're talking about maybe nickel-size hail, which you don't want to drive in. that could cause damage if you're driving through it. If you're sitting still, the damage isn't really likely with nickel size. But if you're driving at 60 miles per hour and nickel size hail, you're going to have some damage to your car.
Yeah,
so
little dings in your car,
yeah,
which we all don't want.
Right.
So we're getting reports of lots of lightning in Timberwood Park. That's associated with that non-severe storm, really small storm in Timberwood Park.
And that's going to move into Stone Oak as well.
We have lights out in Leon Valley, likely due from a lot of the lightning that we're looking at within these storms.
Yes, a lot of lightning.
Strong wind, and I heard thunder in Alamo Ranch.
Yeah, I mean, Alamo Ranch has seen some stronger winds pass through already, and we'll see a little bit of hail. I mean, not hail, excuse me, rain. Excuse me, a little bit of rain as well.
Okay, so Veronica, you want to know about the lightning strikes and how powerful this storm is. So there's all the lightning strikes beginning to move out. What I'm going to do is zoom out and put a lightning count on both of these storms, just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here.
And Megan, after you're done with that, maybe we can bring up the tower cams.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Over the airport?
Over the airport, and then also over the station. So 317 lightning strikes in 15 minutes, that's an electric storm there.
So pretty gloomy over San Antonio Airport. So a lot of you were asking about the airport. Looks like you can definitely see some rain in the distance, even some rain starting to fall in our live cam here.
And let's check out the view from the station too, because there goes a good lightning strike right there on the camera. But let's get a view of the storm that's located over Helotes, which we can now see from northwest San Antonio. This is looking from the medical center. There is the medical center itself. Looks like there's a little bit of storm structure with this. I'll see if I can draw it. Very faint.
Area?
Maybe a little bit of a shelf cloud trying to show up, but it's definitely not the strongest structure that we've seen, especially within the last few days. Some of these storms have had really good structure to them.
So you actually just answered Carissa Clark's question about the medical center. Matthew reporting power out at his house, and Mary Ann also reporting hail in Helotes. So what I'm going to do is bring up sweeping radar. Since we've had a few radar scans, we'll go ahead and dive into the hail core that's beginning to impact the Helotes area in northwestern Bexar County. So we'll zoom in on this storm here and get a good idea of what it's doing.
Yeah, and yeah, nickel-size hail. That nickel-size hail core looks like it's grown a little bit too. That's going to be moving over 1604 between 16 and 10. That is going to be impacting maybe down towards Hebner Road. Let's put a let's put a track on that hail too.
Okay, and the National Weather Service is saying 36-mile-per-hour wind gust at the San Antonio International Airport because of that outflow boundary moving through. We talked about that several minutes ago about that outflow boundary, which was that thin line acting as a mini cold front pushing through the area. Also, just northwest of Helotes, winds up to 30 miles per hour, pea-sized hail, and heavy rain at the moment.
And I want to say, Kenneth says, what is this day 3 in the trenches? I just want to thank you guys. Where other news stations have dropped the ball on their coverage, you have been all over it. Thank you again for helping us stay safe. Kenneth, no problem.
Thank you, Kenneth.
Getting reports of hail in Helotes. Marianne, if you can give us an idea of the size of the hail while also staying safe. You know, don't go outside and put yourself in danger, but if you can safely give us an idea of the size of the hail, Marianne, we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Liz says the wind is picking up at Hebner and Babcock. Terry says they're in Helotes. A lot of rain, had some pea-sized hail and lightning. Chris says power out at Ingram and Culebra. Brian says hello to a friend there. And Carissa says thank you. No problem. So let's zoom down close, Megan. Let's get a view of some of the roads, because I know we have a lot of people who are new to the area, and I actually want to show some of the roads that are further to the southeast here, even southeast of Helotes. So De Zavala Road.
Gray Forest is right where we're looking at the potential for nickel and pea-sized hail, by the way.
Yeah, Babcock Road. We could deal with a little bit of hail along Babcock Road.
Cedar Park.
Oakland Estates. This could impact De Zavala. This may drift east. If it does drift east, that would impact De Zavala Road on the east side of I-10, stretching over towards Shavano Park. So we'll watch that close. Oakland Estates, though, that's down towards Hebner Road where it meets Fredericksburg. I know that there's a lot of apartments in that area. We're going to watch that closely, and then that's going to move closer on towards the medical center if the storm does continue to drift southeast instead of more of an easterly path. Prue Road is also in the way of that.
Already beginning to have some heavy rain, potentially some high wind near Babcock Road, right around there. UTSA Boulevard, starting to get some moderate rain in that area. Potentially, some very light rain in off Babcock Road into Wurzbach Road too. And just outside of Leon Valley, we're looking at, some of the sprinkles with this storm.
So Marianne, thank you so much for your report. She says the hail is about nickel size. The wind is what is worrying her, though. So probably about 60-mile-per-hour winds up and towards Helotes. Really strong winds. Let's take a look at velocity.
That's what I was going to bring up here.
There's where the strongest wind is, almost kind of east of Helotes. Gray Forest stretching across 1604, and that stronger wind about to move into the medical center, moving into Oakland Estates at the moment.
And Chavano Park, heads up to you. You could also get some of this wind gust. They're not talking about issuing any warning with this. It looks like it's still below that severe weather criteria too. So let's put on sweeping radar just to get an idea. So Hollywood Park beginning to get the heavy rain.
Timberwood Park seeing it too.
Park.
That area of construction is probably going to get pretty messy from 1604 up to Timberwood Park. That's going to be the Stone Oak area. All that construction along 281. We have had reports before of some water ponding in that area. Guys, please take it easy on the roads. Remember, do not try to drive through flooded areas. Look at I-10 at west at Loop 1604 below us. You could see that there was some water on the roadways. Now that's at Fortin and Callahan. Not too much of an issue there yet. But as the loop continues, you're going to see some wet areas there across San Antonio. 1604 at Hausman, looking very messy. Cars driving very slow. I hope that trend continues to keep up. We want to make sure everyone stays safe out there.
Yeah, and heads up to Alamo Heights. You could also see some of this heavy rain move through your area and Cross Mountain.
Yeah, thankfully not as large of hail, we're thinking, as last night.
Yeah, so the hail size staying pretty consistent as far as, the size of the hailstone, nickel and pea-size hail. Again, once we reach up to quarter size, that's when we could potentially see that severe thunderstorm warning, which is not what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, lots of rain and lightning in Timberwood Park. Thank you so much for your report there. So Timberwood Park, it looks like there could even be some pea-sized hail in their direction, but nothing too big. We'll watch that hail core to make sure it doesn't grow at all. And let's take a look at that severe thunderstorm warning we have further off to the west, Megan, because, again, we have a lot of heavy rain moving into San Antonio, but we also want to pay attention to this storm that's closer on towards Brackettville, where it's really the much stronger storm right now. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for Brackettville. The stronger part of the storm is down towards Highway 90. And let's zoom down a little bit closer, see if we can get an idea of any communities. That strong storm really right over Highway 90 now near the radar site.
So I just wanted to show you Brackettville for reference. The storm probably seeing some high wind gusts. I was looking at velocity with this storm, seeing a lot of like greens there.
Yeah, right on the radar site too. So that's a good view of it.
And I know it's pretty close to the radar site, so we could definitely see some high winds there.
Yeah. I don't see Klein. Maybe could see some strong winds. Let's also see the hail associated with these storms, how large the hail may be. Yes.
We're going to put Jeff in the car. Where would you like him to drive?
Let's zoom out real quick, Megan.
Okay.
1 second, guys. We're coordinating with the newsroom. Again, we all coordinate together to try to find out what could be going on across the city. And honestly, I think the best spot, Jack, is going to be if we send him up I-10 towards the rim area. So, because we're going to have some heavy rain up through there. Are we wanting some shots for like a weather truck look, or?
Yeah, tell me what you're looking for.
Yeah, so we could have some nickel-size hail up in Bexar County. We could also have some heavy rain. We could also have some really gusty winds associated in that area.
Up I-10 to Bernie and turn around, you think?
Yes.
Got it.
Hail core is kind of blown up a little bit with
I would
that
say
storm.
even up to Fair Oaks and then turn around.
Up to Fair Oaks and turn around.
Yes.
Let's look at the hail tracker with this a little bit. So yeah, still looking at, you know, pea up to nickel size hail near the Helotes area.
We got reports of hail at Kickapoo Caverns. That's at in Kinney County. So we also had a little bit of hail reported off that way. Can you show the projected path? I'd like to see how it could potentially impact the south side. Stephen, yes, we can do that. Now the hail core has shrunk. That's great news. It's now looking like the hail could be getting smaller than nickel size, which that's going to be hitting where we are. So I like that because my car is currently outside. So as long as that hail continues to stay smaller, that's good news. But we're going to continue to watch that very closely. The hail core is very small, but it could be going right through San Antonio. Pea to nickel size, really.
So I think these storms are making more of an east-southeast track, but I went ahead and brought it down into downtown just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, and I put it along the edge of both storms. So this is when, you know, you could potentially start seeing that moderate to heavy rainfall in your area. So here is the timeline. Leon Valley about 9:40. We have 5:41, I should say. 5:46 in Converse, San Antonio at 5:50. 5:50 also at AT&T. And then we also have Elmendorf here right around 6 p.m. and then 6:07 in Graytown. So this is just giving you an idea of where these non-severe thunderstorms are going, and you could see the timeline. We actually have a newly issued severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Bexar County through 6:30. Literally just said non-severe, but it looks like, you know, they're kind of seeing what we're looking at, and that's these cells kind of strengthening just a little bit.
I'm willing to bet it's because of wind, because the hail has stayed fairly smaller.
Yeah.
More around the nickel size, but now a severe thunderstorm warning for San Antonio. Bexar County and San Antonio under a severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30 p.m. You see the amount of people this impacts. Nearly 1,500,000 people impacted by this severe thunderstorm warning. So heads up, everyone.
Right, and so quarter-size hail, but it's mainly the wind like Andrew was saying, so we could potentially see 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We have a nickel-size hail report coming out of Gray Forest in Bexar County. We also have Sandra Graham reporting no power. Let's see, Elizabeth saying it's horrible, and Stone Oak, strong winds and thunder. So let's go ahead and dive into this storm.
That's a pretty strong storm up towards Stone Oak as well.
Let's dive into this storm and look at velocity here. So it looks like more of Hollywood Park could also get the strong winds with this storm too.
Yeah, so the stronger winds are really along I-10 at the moment, and dipping down towards the medical center and Oakland Estates.
We'll put on sweeping radar and lightning to give you an idea of how much lightning we're looking at with this storm too.
Yeah, pretty electric.
Let's see what they say the speed is of this storm. So it's moving southeast at 25 miles per hour. I think we could see some localized flooding with this too.
Yeah, I-10 in Days of Valley looking messy. I-10 west at Loop 1604, also pretty messy. A lot of people driving slow out there. A lot of heavy rainfall. Not something you want to be out driving your car in. And there's a look at the storm up to the north from the airport.
Yeah, from the airport, seeing a lot of heavy rain. And where you're seeing kind of like the darker shades of rain there, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at gusty winds. We just saw some lightning out in the distance too with this.
Oh, and I need to plug my phone in. I need to practice what I preach and make sure my mobile device is charged. Guys, if it's not charged, go ahead and charge yours. Remember, we are going to have that possibility of power outages. Brianna wants to know about northern Atascosa County. Brianna, right now, not a concern in your area. Much of these storms have been dying as they've dipped down to the south. This one in Bexar County, I'm willing to bet that it will start to die out here over the next maybe hour. We will watch it closely, though, because I'm not going to say that's a guarantee, but it's likely that storm will weaken, while these storms over towards Brackettville and Maverick County, Kinney and Maverick County, will hold together until they dip down across the border into Mexico. So we're going to watch these pretty closely further off to the west, because those are the stronger ones. Again, this one in San Antonio, barely within that severe criteria, but definitely a very strong storm, and that's why it has that severe thunderstorm warning.
Let's look at a few comments here. New Braunfels ? Let's zoom down into northern Bexar County and Comal County included a little bit
Yeah,
here
we've got
too.
some heavy rain along the Guadalupe, or actually it's really south of the Guadalupe River, so not too much of an issue for you now that we're taking a closer look at it. But still some heavy rainfall there.
And Timberwood Park, we've seen the shower kind of continue to blossom too, so it's a little more heavy rain coverage. Remember when it was just a small shower over Timberwood Park, but now it looks like it is affecting more communities north of downtown San Antonio there.
Yeah, so a lot of heavy rainfall associated with this, and guys, I'm working to see if we got any images coming in from outside, so I'm going to collaborate with the newsroom here real quick, Megan. I'm going to step off for just a moment, okay?
Okay, so across the mountain right now, getting the heavy rain, Helotes, heavy rain. We've also seen a lot of you talking about how loud it's been in the Helotes area. Here's a new radar scan, and that thunderstorm, now severe warned, is inching closer and closer to the Hollywood Park area. Let's put the hail tracker on this storm too. Like we said, it's mainly been a wind gust hazard. It looks like our hail core has weakened overall. This is not the same hail core that we saw last night. I mean, a lot smaller. We're only looking at pea, maybe marble size hail within this severe thunderstorm warning. We could potentially see wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour within this severe warned storm. Again, it includes downtown San Antonio, Alamo Heights, and also Leon Valley and Hollywood Park. Looks like Shirts, you're literally just on the outside of this severe warning.
Yeah, and we now actually have our storm tracker out there tracking some of the shower and thunderstorm activity right now, gathering information. Our crew's out there staying safe themselves, but he's going to show us what it looks like out there on some of the roadways across San Antonio. You can kind of see right now he hasn't quite made it to I-10, but he's about to hop on I-10 and drive off to the northwest and show some of that heavy rain, the frequent lightning, show some of the traffic concerns that we may have out there on the roadways right now, and possibly even come across a little bit of hail. Hopefully we don't find any hail, though. And
we're getting reports right here in Bexar County of it being loud with strong wind and also a lot of rain, so thank you so much for that report.
Yeah, thank you.
Rain, thunder, and wind crest, thank you for that report. Culebra 1604 going to get hit, Vanessa would like to know.
Yes, Culebra and 1604 could see a little bit of shower and storm activity. Much of this is off to your north, but we could have a little bit of shower activity move over Culebra and 1604. The good news is the majority of the storms are well off to your north. So if you do get any, it'll just barely brush up against you, but the severe warning is not included for your area.
Again, looks like we kind of had that gust front move through downtown.
Yeah, we did. You're
yeah,
right.
So we could definitely see, we've had some high wind gusts there in downtown San Antonio. Now moving toward China Grove, and also the Shirts area could also get some wind gusts. And it looks like wind gusts, 45 up to 55 miles per hour, and that's that gust front we're talking about, and then we have the storms well behind that gust front.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the hail core again, Megan, just because that's what I know a lot of people are worried about, just since we had hail last night, and it's gotten smaller. The hail continues to shrink. Again, I love to see that because my car's outside. So great news, still about pea to maybe even up to nickel-size hail associated with right at the rim. I mean, that hail is going to be right at the rim. Let's, you know what? I'm going to watch our rotator cam just up here in the top corner, and we may bring it up instead of our weather truck in a moment. I'm going to watch this loop real quick, but we're going to continue to just kind of, I'm going to bring the thunderstorm up full here, look at the radar up full for the moment.
So looking at sweeping radar, we have Lisa reporting a lot of wind in the medical center. KINS 5, our studio is not far from the medical center there, so very windy conditions. And it looks like winds up to 60 miles per hour will be the primary threat with this thunderstorm. Terry reporting it's calm now. It's calming down in the Helotes area. We have Sandra saying starting to hear rumbling of thunder in the Converse area. Thank you all so much for your reports. Let us know what you hear outside because it really helps us understand what's going on outside your window. What I want to do too is look at some of these live cams. I know we have a full view of the medical center. So there you go. Our camera kind of shaking a little bit on top of our station. And the sunset really illuminating storms out there.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you see the sunlight trying to shine behind the cloud cover. I just saw I-10 west of 1604. It didn't look like I had too much hail concerns out there. Now, our weather truck is heading in that direction right now, and there you can see it. It's heading up towards the rim, so we're going to get an idea of what the hail may be like. He should be there in about 10 minutes. Again, we're in the medical center, so he's driving up towards that direction at the moment.
I do want to talk about Maverick County because pay attention in Eagle Pass. You know, we were just talking about the stronger storms developing over western counties. I know we had that level 2 slight risk yesterday over our western counties, but the Storm Prediction Center, they actually extended it more eastward to include San Antonio. Again, a lot of us under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. this evening, but taking it down into Eagle Pass, I just want to zoom in.
Brackettville. We have a question about Brackettville right now. It looks like some of the storms have kind of gone around you. Now, you're still going to have the possibility for some storms, but it looks like the worst of the storms kind of just missed Brackettville. So I hope that answers your question there. And then I see a question about the Castle Hills area. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Castle Hills. The hail, not as strong as yesterday, not as large, about pea-size to nickel-size hail, but gusty winds. That's why the severe thunderstorm warning is in place for San Antonio right now.
A lot of lightning, too, could cause power outages. And since we're talking about wind gusts, that could also break some tree limbs and potentially make those tree limbs fall onto power lines. So charge your mobile devices. We've been saying it for hours now. You know, you could always keep up to date, especially on this Facebook Live, and keep track of that.
Yeah, Chavano Park just had about pea-size hail, so thank you for that report. We appreciate that, Lori. Winds have died down in Helotes, still have some rumbles. Rain has lightened as well. Great news. Thank you for your report, Carissa. Terry. Carissa says, Lisa, my windows are shaking, responding to somebody else here within our Facebook Live. How bad will it get for Carrizo Springs? Right now, not much of a concern for Carrizo Springs, but we are watching some storms that are further on off towards your north and west.
But again, we still have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Bexar County, and that's going to continue through 6:30. You know, the storm isn't moving all that quickly, so it's possible, since we're kind of in rush hour here, we could get some ponding on roadways.
Yeah, and let's zoom all the way down to and bring the hail core up. Jeff is out in the storm tracker right now, and he's getting closer towards the rim. It looks like the hail core, oh man, it keeps shrinking. Thank goodness. So we had a report of in Chavano Park of pea-size hail. That looks like that is in line with what we're seeing on radar. So sometimes the radar is wrong, but it looks like the radar is right in this instance, which is good news. It looks like Jeff is driving on the road there. Still some people braking a lot of heavy rain, some gusty winds likely were in that area earlier on. Possibly he may even encounter some of that hail too. So we're going to keep him up. He's going to give us an idea on what the roads look like for everyone who may be looking at trying to head home soon. Maybe you're about to get off work.
So Camp Bullis Road, this hail core is just south of you. And again, we're only looking at pea to nickel size hail right now. So nothing compared to what we saw yesterday. I know a lot of you are concerned about that. And
that is going to impact Castle Hills and Phil Hardberger. If anybody's out at Phil Hardberger Park, they really need to pack up and get in. You're already probably seeing rain, some lightning, and gusty winds in that area.
We actually hear the wind right now.
The winds are whistling outside the window at the moment. Lots of ambulances in the Stone Oak area. No hail here yet. Stay safe. Thank you so much for your report, Megan. 10 minutes earlier, the wind was real gusty, but on radar seems like storm is weakening, Christine says. And yeah, it does seem like the storm is weakening in some aspects. Sometimes these storms do something called cycling. they'll weaken and then get strong again, weaken and get strong. We saw that with a few storms yesterday.
Right.
So we're going to watch this one close to make sure that's not what the storm is doing. Make sure it's not cycling. But much of the storms around this storm have been weakening. A lot of the storms that have been making a more easterly path have been weakening. And that could very well be what this storm is doing here, because it is kind of moving more due east.
Really good rainfall rates around Huebner Road, though. And that's
Huebner Road east of I-10.
I was about to say that, yeah. So up toward Hollywood Park, we're beginning to get some light rain. Hill Country Village, likely getting some moderate rain around your area. There's Walker Ranch Road, so, you know, around 281 and that area, we're also getting some heavy rain beginning to move through, too.
And I just realized that our audio had gone back up on the weather truck, guys, so if it was a little loud, I'm sorry about that. I just killed the audio there, that way it's not too loud with all the driving and the heavy rainfall in the car.
Is San Antonio the new Oklahoma City, someone wants to know? Yeah, it seems like it, since we've definitely had, you know, severe storms the last couple of evenings. This is typically when we start seeing severe storms, though. It's really March and May, April, and May. Yeah.
We had mentioned that the historic tornado that struck in northern Williamson County in the, goodness, what's the community called? The anniversary was yesterday.
Jarrell.
Or 2 days ago. Jarrell. I almost said Turl, but that's back where I used to work in Arkansas. Yeah, Jarrell. They had the historic EF5 tornado that struck portions of the Jarrell community and really went right through the heart of Jarrell. That was back in '97, but it was this time of year. So this is typically the time of year we see stronger to severe storms. I know that's a little bit further north in our region, but still close enough to where it's that same time of the year.
So it looks like we have thunderstorm wind gust reports of 52 miles per hour, and that's in Valverde County, so that's well west of Bexar County there.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll zoom back out, because I know we still have a lot of communities out there under warnings as we speak. Heads up to Eagle Pass. You know, we're watching a storm just north of you. Looks like the severe thunderstorm warning close to Valverde and much of Kinney counties, that's going to stay out of Del Rio.
Yeah, it's going to stay just east. Thank goodness. You know, if you're in Del Rio, you're probably really not wanting to deal with that. Looks like traffic's slowing around the rim area. Look at how slow it is. It's typically a bit slower there when you get around 1604. You know, probably a little bit amplified with how slow things are due to the heavy rainfall and the thunderstorm activity. So, guys, extra space between you and the car in front of you. Take it easy out there on the roadways.
And Susan, thank you so much for your report. She says Phil Hardberger Park area has lots of strong wind and rain. You were just talking about that area too.
Yeah, that's a place where we actually go a lot. You know, beautiful park, but not a good place to be out in right now just because of all the heavy rain and all the lightning.
Getting reports of hail in Castle Hills. We'll actually go back to Bexar County. I know we've had a few radar scans here, so we'll look at the latest hail tracker just to see what we're looking at.
And it continues to shrink in big time, it looks like. Yeah, much smaller. Very small hail core.
Yeah.
It continues to shrink. Still probably some really strong winds, though, so that's why the National Weather Service has continued with the severe thunderstorm warning. And is that until 6:30?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So we still have about 30 minutes left on that warning. By the way, guys, heads up real quick. Ken's 5, news at 6 starts in 3 minutes. So, or about 5 minutes rather. Excuse me. I got the time a little bit fast on my watch here, but it starts in about 3 to 5 minutes. So make sure you tune in to Ken's 5 on CBS. Weather Chief Bill Taylor is going to be on giving the latest update on these storms. We're also going to have a traffic update with Holly Stouffer, I believe. Not 100% sure on that, but we are going to have it's kind of a condensed version of the news at 6 because we also have information coming in from the city on the latest on the coronavirus numbers that we show every day at 6:13. So be sure to tune in Ken's 5 and News at 6. We're not signing off here. I'm just letting y'all know the latest news and weather information is also going to be on Ken's 5 coming up here in less than 5 minutes. so be sure to tune into that. Now, we still have the severe thunderstorm warning located near Hollywood Park. That's going to be where the strongest part of the storm is, and it's about to cross 281.
So we have a question, could you pull it in so we can see the city? So we can look at a few areas here.
So guys, I was just making sure that the audio didn't come back up on our live truck, so I stepped off there for just a moment. But yeah, again, some other parts of the city could be dealing with some strong winds too. Castle Hills right now.
Balcones Heights, Castle Hills, like you had mentioned.
Converse area is out downstream, kind of closer on towards Windcrest over here. You'll notice that Converse area could also see some strong winds.
Alamo Heights, this will pass just north of you, but still some heavy rain possible.
Yeah.
And pretty loud because of the lightning.
Hebner and Lock Hill Selma saw pea-sized hail, only raining now. Victor, thank you so much for your report.
Yeah, thank you. Very strong wind and heavy rain, also getting that report in Bexar County. So looks like mainly hail reports and mainly pea-size and nickel-size hail reports, I would say.
Yeah.
But mainly the wind and also the lightning causing a few power outages too.
Yeah, let's see what the National Weather Service has to say now. Hail estimates have been trending below severe levels in Bexar County, likely just half to nickel size. We will continue the warning for time being. So right now they're continuing with the severe warning in Bexar County, but if the hail continues to shrink, they may end up pulling that warning out and not continuing it up towards 6:30.
So we had another report of nickel-size hail on the northwestern side of Bexar County. So there's Windcrest, Converse. You know, we just had elated what were you going to say?
Yeah, Converse, and I was looking up towards Schertz. They're about to see some strong wind and heavy rain themselves.
And we just had a latest radar scan, and so we're still looking at heavy rain over the Converse area. And, you know, these storms aren't moving that quick. They're only moving, you know, east-southeast at about 20 miles per hour, so we could see some isolated flooding in some spots.
Yeah.
You know, Weather Chief Bill Taylor, he's been talking about our soil kind of acting as a sponge. So still very saturated because of the recent rain we've had.
Yeah.
You know, interesting enough, we have now over 13 inches of rain for our yearly annual rainfall, which is above normal in San Antonio. And so far, our rainfall for the month of May above normal, too.
Yeah, and we've needed the rainfall because we've been dealing with drought conditions for months since last April. Last August. We've been dealing with some drought conditions here in South Texas. We've needed the rain, and finally, it's arrived, and we've kind of almost gotten it all at once here.
And Christine adding to that, she said, haha, Hebner and Interstate 10 area has dodged 3 bullets, twice yesterday and today, haha.
We live in that area, so we like that. I mean, right now our dog is home alone. I know I'm not the only one who thinks about Ollie all the time.
Yeah.
We're always like, we hope that Ollie's safe at home. So we like that. We like that they've dodged the bullets.
Exactly. Let's see. Getting dark a little bit is what Samantha Smith has to say. I know a lot of you, even Jeremiah, commenting how it's getting super dark out there.
Yeah, super dark. You can see that. Look at our live weather truck showing shots of along I-10, now northwest of the rim area, and you can see how gloomy it is and just kind of really spooky outside, I guess you could even say, as these strong storms continue to move through. Megan, this storm looks like it's even weaker. I'm going to turn on lightning real quick to get an idea how electric these storms are to see if the updraft is still strong.
As far as the wind, I think we're getting the highest wind gust right now in the Hollywood Park area, but now moving east of both Hollywood Park and Hill Country Village. Looks like it'll pass north of Windcrest.
Yeah, and guys, I think they're going to let this severe thunderstorm warning expire. So we're going to take a quick look over towards our friends in southwest Uvalde County and then southeast Kinney County. We're keeping an eye on the storm in San Antonio. Don't worry, but it really doesn't look like it's as strong as what it was earlier.
It's weakening.
Still some strong winds, but sub-severe, you know, not quite severe level winds. Right along the border here, southwest of Brackettville and Kinney County, stretching down into northwest portions of Maverick County. Along 277, we have large hail. We're talking about quarter size to golf ball size.
Just southwest of Uvalde, a pretty strong hail core at that.
Yeah, we're seeing maybe up to golf ball to tennis ball size hail
Yeah.
in that storm, and that is going to dip down into Maverick County and kind of ride the line of Maverick County and Zavala County.
Yeah, so La Pryor, this looks like it'll stay west of you, and Uvalde, this will stay west of you too.
And that's where our most intense storms are at the moment, pretty much west of 83. Anyone west of 83 is really dealing with really stormy conditions west of 83 and south of 90 now. And even closer towards Del Rio, a pretty good storm about to move just east of Del Rio at the moment. Not severe, but strong.
But for our community of Uvalde, you know, likely getting some cloud to ground lightning from storms well west of you. That just shows you, you know, how high these cloud tops are and just how powerful these storms are. But they do have that severe thunderstorm warning for Kinney and Maverick counties that will continue through 6:45. Time now being 6:03. So we still have about 42 minutes on that storm.
And a significant weather advisory has been put into place for parts of Uvalde and Zavala counties for the far east side of that storm. That's going to be the area outside the severe thunderstorm warning, of course.
Right, and so it looks like nickel-sized hail and wind gust of 50 miles per hour will be possible with that storm. And right now we're getting reports of 45-mile-an-hour wind gusts at the San Antonio airport. I want to pull up the camera just to see what it looks like at the airport.
Yeah, that's a good call. Let's take a look at the airport, and it looks like the camera's not moving around too much. It may be on a more sturdy structure, so it's not shaking as much, though. But yeah, a little bit of a shake to it. And you can see the thunderstorm that's just off to the north there. But we're able to see through it a bit. Now you see that it may be a little bit further to the east, where we're seeing the heavier the rainfall.
And also some lightning, too.
Yeah, a little bit of lightning associated with the storm, too, that we're seeing occasionally. And this
Here's Calaveras Lake.
Yeah, and you can see the storm there towards the east. This is looking northwest. Beyond those smokestacks you see there, just to the right of them, is downtown in the distance, way in the distance. So that kind of lets you know, yeah, that's Calaveras Lake, of course, southeast of San Antonio, if you're not aware. So that storm just on the north side of San Antonio is what you're seeing to the right side of your screen.
So very gloomy out there. We'll get back to radar to look at some of these hail cores. First, we'll check in with Bexar County just to see what the hail is looking like. We've been showing kind of this weakening with storms, but they're slow movers, so can't rule out some isolated flooding in some areas.
Yeah.
So here's the hail tracker.
And the hail is pretty much non-existent now.
We're not seeing anything there.
Let's bring up sweeping radar, Megan, and let's also turn on lightning, because I'm also curious how much lightning we've had, and you can see how it's gone down since it was in Helotes.
Way down.
These storms are weakening rapidly. They're not going to continue this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:30, guys. The storm is just really falling apart right now, and I'm sure we're going to hear from the National Weather Service soon on what they are going to want to do with the storm. But definitely had that severe criteria earlier on. We had some strong winds, and we had some larger hail associated with the storm. And
Elizabeth, you're reporting thundering and drizzling in Adkins. So for all of you asking about the Bexar County area in your neighborhood, you know, this is what we're looking at as a whole. Less lightning, more of a weakening trend, and also no more hail core with this storm. Just heavy rain, pretty noisy. I mean, still looking at, you know, pretty good lightning strikes, but less lightning strikes than what we have been looking at. And there you go. They let the warning expire over Bexar County. So
yeah,
we're in the clear for that.
Yeah, so San Antonio, still gusty winds, still some lightning, still some heavy rain, but as far as severe storms and even strong storms, not really much of a concern anymore. That leaves us with this severe thunderstorm warning until 6:45 in Kinney and Maverick County. This is the last severe thunderstorm warning we have in place right now for South Texas. We have a lot of hail cores associated with this storm.
And different hail cores at that. So we've seen all these thunderstorms kind of grouped together here. So heads up to Eagle Pass. You know, you're outside of this severe thunderstorm warning, but Let's look at the track of these just to see if they've shift track any. Yeah, I think it's still possible to maybe get some P to nickel size hail in the Eagle Pass area. We'll have to see if the National Weather Service were to extend this warning at all for Maverick County.
Yeah, but that's going to be the last warning that we have at the moment. Right now it doesn't include Eagle Pass, but Eagle Pass, you could see a little bit of hail here within the next 30 minutes to the next hour. So just a heads up for your area.
Some of you are asking, let's go back to this. So Brianna White wants to know, why is it so windy in Pleasanton? I'm going to bring up velocity because this helps us keep track of the wind. And what I want to show you is that you guys actually had a gust front move through your area.
You can see it really well.
So you see that really thin line of red? That's showing us a gust front moving through.
Yeah, you can see it kind of just over Pleasanton. That's that stronger wind that you say, why is it so windy? Well, that's because the thunderstorms to your north have died out, and all that wind, I want you to think of a thunderstorm like this. All this mass, rain and air, and sometimes even a little bit of hail, is up high in a storm. Well, when it all comes down and hits the surface, all that air has to go somewhere. It's not going to go into the ground. It has to get pushed out. And that's what's happening. That air gets pushed out to the side, and it gets way ahead of the storm.
And you get this whoosh effect.
Yeah, the whoosh effect. A lot of wind.
That's what I at least call it. So
it gets pushed out ahead, and that's what you have in Pleasanton. Wind gusting out ahead. Weather Chief Bill Taylor, by the way, he's on CBS right now giving an update.
Yeah, so he's going to include the 7-day forecast too on Eyewitness News, so that way you have an idea, are we going to see showers and storms again over the next couple of days? But, you know, we've just seen several rounds over the past couple of evenings, you know, really not a break for a lot of our counties. I would say the big difference is, you know, we have the watch in place, but now it stretches all the way toward Kinney, Val Verde, down into Maverick counties. Uvalde also included in this watch through 10 p.m. Over time, though, you know, the National Weather Service will trim back on that watch, not include many counties. So we'll watch that and update you too on this Facebook Live.
Yeah. Eagle Pass, again, you know, no hail in your area just yet. Really not even much of a storm activity, but you're about to see thunderstorm activity pick up. Look at that outflow.
And also an outflow boundary too.
Yeah, and I think because that outflow boundary is so far ahead of that hail core that's in southwest Uvalde County and northeast Maverick, northwest Zavala now, I think we're going to see that storm really fall apart. So let's go ahead and take a look at the hail cores again for these storms. Likely some really strong wind in northwest Maverick County.
I think so too.
That hail core is still holding on, but I think we could see it shrink just a little bit here, guys, over the next 15 to 30 minutes.
It's not going to impact La Pryor. You know, it's right along the borders there of Kinney and Uvalde counties, but now it's beginning to take more of a westerly track here.
Yeah, it's going to start to drift a little more southwest now that that outflow boundary is kind of pushed through that area. And we're going to see thunderstorm activity pick up, maybe even all the way down towards Eagle Pass now.
We have Naomi saying winds are picking up in Divine right now. Yeah, we're just looking at a lot of gust fronts and across our area, so that's
outflow.
Yeah, that's the reason why there.
So the storm over San Antonio, let's look back up at it. Does it even really have anything going on for it anymore? I mean, we actually have a little storm up in northern Comal County.
Live Oak area also getting some rain too.
Yeah, but that's about it. It's a really small thunderstorm activity now, and let's turn on lightning, see how electric this storm is. It's really lost its intensity. Not too much lightning, just kind of a run-of-the-mill summertime thunderstorm now, which we like.
Yeah, so no severe thunderstorm warning in place, but still pretty noisy over the Live Oak area.
Yeah.
We'll zoom in because we have a question about shirts. So Samantha wants to know about shirts. You know, we have heavy rain over you, some wind gust up to 50 miles per hour and a lot of lightning, but storms are weakening and we're not looking at that severe thunderstorm and warning in effect for Bexar County anymore.
Yeah.
So these are non-severe thunderstorms moving through. We'll show you the hail cores again just to give you an idea, but we've seen a really good weakening trend as far as that hail core. I know we've had some hail reports come out of the Helotes area of P to Nickel size hail, but we're not looking at that anymore.
Right. So thank goodness. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear that the hail cores continue to weaken, and the only place where we have hail that's still a concern is going to be for our friends over in Kinney County, moving into parts of Maverick County at the moment, and that's going to be south of Brackettville. Brackettville, you're fine now. Honestly, the storms missed you for the most part. Still a little bit of rain, still a little bit of lightning up towards Brackettville, but the stronger storms, they kind of went all around you. So be thankful today that those storms just missed you.
So they're going to continue the severe thunderstorm warning for both Kinney and Maverick counties with hail sizes up to ping pong ball size and also 60-mile-an-hour wind gust.
Okay.
So that warning will continue through 6:45. Let's look at how fast these storms are moving. So they're only moving south at 25 miles per hour there.
Okay, yeah, so not a very quick movement, but definitely drifting down towards Eagle Pass. Looks like traffic's pretty slow out on the interstate right now. You see our live weather truck out driving around, kind of showing us what the roads are like out there. Slow moving and really wet out there across many of the roads. That's going to be along I-10 on the northwest side of San Antonio, stretching up from the rim towards Fair Oaks Ranch. So just heads up, guys. Take it easy on those roads. It's pretty wet out there.
And it looks like a lot of this rain will also miss the La Pryor area and Crystal City.
Yeah.
They're really joining together there in northern Maverick County.
Yeah, so Maverick County is the spot where the heaviest rain is falling. Of course, that's the spot that needs the rainfall because that's the spot that currently has severe drought. And I think we're going to see some big improvement thanks to some of the rain that's falling now. We're going to see the severe drought trim back even more by the next update that comes out every Thursday. Remember, the drought monitor is every Thursday, and I think we're going to see tons of improvement. All that abnormally dry area that we see across our region, I think that's all going to erase.
Yeah.
I feel like, at least.
Let's cross our fingers and hope so.
Because we've had some really heavy rain, and drought has really improved across the region.
So we have Angela Cook. You're wanting to know about the Del Rio area. You know, we saw showers and storms flare up over Valverde. They moved south, collapsed, and now it just kind of missed Del Rio.
Yeah.
We're looking at pockets of heavy rain beginning to blow up, you know, over on the Mexico side. So it looks like it is, for the most part, going to miss Del Rio. We'll put lightning on and zoom in to give you a closer look at this, too. So still some lightning right around, but you're kind of in this bubble right now.
Yeah, but it's Kinney County, you're probably hearing the storm at least, and maybe seeing lightning strikes from the storm in southwest Kinney County and northern Maverick County.
So there's a new radar scan coming in. We're still looking at a lot of lightning strikes from this little non-severe storm northwest of Brackettville. I mean, lightning strikes are traveling for miles over Kinney into Valverde counties there.
Yeah, and it's not, you know, Brackettville is still hearing a lot of thunder from that storm that's just to their south and drifting south away from their area.
And the storm is moving pretty slow. So again, localized flooding will be a concern with this, you know, severe thunderstorm as well.
I see a question coming in from Jackson Floyd. Does the chance for severe weather in the San Antonio area continue into later tonight, or are we still under a severe thunderstorm watch in Bexar County? So we are expecting the chance for severe weather, I would be willing to say, start to calm down even a little bit as after these storms have passed through. They've kind of taken the energy out of the atmosphere a bit. Now we still are going to have some chances for storms. We still have the severe thunderstorm watch in place until 10 p.m. in San Antonio, but I'm willing to bet the severe threat starts to go down a little bit here as we head into later on tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. You were talking about how our atmosphere will get worked over by a lot of the storms that we saw already. So again, the watch will continue until 10 p.m. As of right now, San Antonio is still included in this severe thunderstorm watch, but over time we'll update you to see if any counties are trimmed out of the watch.
Yeah, so right now, especially the area in Kerr County and Gillespie County, the atmosphere has really been worked over. Just a lot of the energy in the atmosphere has been taken out. Doesn't mean that no new storms could form. It's still possible. But man, 65 degrees in Kerrville compared to 91 in Cotulla, 93 in George West and Beeville.
You can see where it rained. Yeah.
And where the outflow boundary passed through.
Exactly. So the outflow boundary definitely telling a story here. We have Uvalde at 74. Meanwhile, a county over in the 90s. So a big contrast there in temperatures. And then 93 in George West and Beeville. So, we still have a little instability out there.
Yeah, so still a lot of heat in places where they didn't see as much rain. And some people made it through today, and they're like, what are you even talking about? What are you talking about, storms? It's beautiful outside. It's hot. I'm sitting by my pool. That's what you may be saying down towards Cotulla, Tilden, and even Beeville and parts of Cuero, possibly even you could be saying that. But other parts, especially in the hill country and stretching west of San Antonio, that's where we've seen more thunderstorm activity. You see a storm in far west Texas as well, northwest of Big Bend.
Yeah, so, right around Houston, and we even saw pictures of water spouts off Galveston Bay earlier today.
Yeah, we did.
So they've seen some active weather, in southeast Texas, close to the Houston area in Galveston, along the Gulf of Mexico. But for us, we're still looking at, the biggest storm packing a punch over Maverick County right now.
And I'm curious as to how that hail core is doing right there on the Maverick County and Zavala County line. I'm willing to bet it's weakened, and it has. Like I said, guys, I think that hail core is going to continue to shrink over the next 15 to 30 minutes. I mentioned that just about 10 minutes ago, and there it is, continuing to get smaller and smaller. Still a severe thunderstorm, still a quarter-size hail, but not that possible golf ball-size hail that we had just about 15 minutes ago, where you see it's getting a lot smaller, and it's going to, I would expect, continue to shrink over even the next 10 minutes or so.
Looks like it may miss Eagle Pass.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers.
Yeah, as far as the track right now anyway.
Scott says, great job, guys. No problem, Scott. Flo
Thank you, Scott.
Also says that. No problem, Flo. What about Karnes County? Around Karnes County, right now, no issues in your area, but we are going to be watching the chance for some stronger storms later tonight. Thankfully, a lot of the stronger storms have stayed well west of Karnes County. You can kind of see where they are, where the hail cores are, well west. We could have maybe a little hail core just southeast of San Marcos. Now, this area is kind of more towards the Austin viewing area, but we'll keep a close eye on this for our friends in this region, too. This is going to be near Luling.
And this is going to stay out of New Braunfels, too, in case you had a question about that, too.
Yeah, so a lot of rain, a little bit of lightning, about to head down Highway 80 towards Luling, staying east of Seguin, well east of Seguin.
Storms are beginning to calm down over Garden Ridge and the Schertz area.
Yeah, which is good news.
We'll get a look at Bexar County as a whole, but this is a 2-hour loop, and you could see showers just really fizzled once they moved toward Bexar County and really downtown San Antonio, too.
Yeah, so good news.
Any other comments over there?
Not seeing any more come in. Still a little bit of light to moderate rain out there, guys, but that's pretty much it for much of Bexar County. Still have the severe thunderstorm warning in place for Maverick County and parts of Kinney County until 6:45. Small hail possible in San Marcos. That's coming from the National Weather Service. And then they're saying that severe thunderstorm warning located over towards Maverick County still has hail possibly up towards pong ball size and 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah. So it looks like more of a wind threat, too. And hail, but it looks like most of the hail is crossing over the border there into Mexico.
Yeah, and you can see that. You can see much of the hail crossing the border. So we'll see if the National Weather Service continues this warning, because this hail core is shrinking. It may completely collapse, and I think by 6:30, much of the hail will actually already be across the border. So we'll have to see if the National Weather Service opts to continue this severe thunderstorm warning or if they let it cancel after the stronger part of the storm enters into Mexico.
I think Eagle Pass could still get some rain with these storms, but as far as the hail core, it looks like it is going to pass just west of Eagle Pass. And Lexi Rose, thank you so much for that sweet comment.
As well as Oscar. Oscar saying, yeah, amazing. Thank you all so much. No problem,
Thanks, Oscar. Yeah, the thing we want is to keep you guys safe, especially since we had that tornado warning earlier. Luckily, we didn't have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground.
Yes, great news.
And that was allowed to expire at 4:15. So we ran in here and we wanted to walk you through a lot of these storms that we had. I know it got a little dicey over Bandera and Kerr counties a little while ago, but as of right now, it looks like it's starting to quiet down.
Yeah, so quieter weather expected to move in for much of tonight. Now here, this is the thing, we still have the possibility, it's still there, of some severe weather through 10 p.m. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in place until 10 p.m. We'll see what the National Weather Service decides to do over the next few hours to see if they want to trim back some counties. The parts of the atmosphere that have already been worked over, like what we said, up towards Gillespie County especially, stretching down into Kerr County. We're seeing some reports of watching storms closely that have formed northeast of Lampasas. These are drifting southeast towards the Burnett and Williamson County area, where they had baseball-sized hail in Sun City last night. That's Williamson County near Georgetown. I almost said George County.
Yeah, so there's Lampasas right there. So Killeen getting the heavy rain. There's Bell County. That's where Killeen and Temple are located. Then you go south into Williamson, and then you have Travis County. But for the most part, it looks like storms will move from Coryell County, south of Gatesville, into the Bell County area.
Yeah, and those are going to miss us far east, far to the northeast.
Yeah.
So we'll watch them, but they don't seem to be much of a concern for us.
Man, look at Bexar County showers and storms, though. I mean, it just really died down. We're just looking at light rain, pockets of moderate rain at this point.
Yeah, nothing severe with this one, by the way, but Gonzales could see a heavy shower with a little bit of rumbles of thunder here over the next about 45 minutes to the next hour. It's just a brief storm passing through. Nothing to be concerned about. We'll watch it closely if anything changes. And Megan, let's bump it back to that hail core again that we've been watching so closely. I'm kind of curious if it's continued to collapse, and it has. So now maybe up to nickel-sized hail at the largest there in northeast portions of Maverick County.
And it looks like they'll issue a significant weather advisory on the storm we were watching up here. So there's that little hail core right there.
Maybe pea-sized hail that could hit the Gonzales area. Really, really tiny. Not too much to be concerned with. We do have a lot of crops up in that area, so you don't want pea-sized hail falling on your crops, but thankfully it's not too much. It's going to be brief. We're not talking about coating the ground like what happened in Kerrville yesterday. We're talking about just brief periods of pea-sized hail.
And the storm's moving really, really fast, too, at least compared to previous storms.
Yeah.
Let's see if there are any updates here. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah. A few people asking some questions. We'll see if we can get some answers in that soon.
So we have Sandra Lewis saying, glad it is dying down. We're glad too.
Yeah, and guys, I want to get another look. I keep going over to this Maverick County storm because I'm curious, as this storm moves across the border, the more severe side of it, I'm thinking that the National Weather Service is going to allow the severe thunderstorm warning to expire early.
Can we check velocity on these storms too? Maybe some high winds.
Goodness, we could have some really strong winds that just moved across the border.
And there's the outflow boundary moving through Eagle Pass now.
Yeah, likely having some gusty winds in the Eagle Pass area. But really much of the stronger part of this storm is now across the border and into Mexico. So the National Weather Service, I'm sure, taking a good look at this and trying to make a decision, maybe even as early as 6:30 on whether they want to continue this severe thunderstorm warning in Maverick and Kinney counties.
Still a lot of rain, though, in northern Maverick County.
Yeah, heavy rain. So they're talking about how the severe threat is most likely done in Bexar County, but they're going to hang on to the watch a little bit longer just in case some more storms form. We're going to watch that close ourselves. Of course, we're going to be sticking here at the station for a while, just keeping an eye on storms behind the scenes. Once this severe thunderstorm warning expires in northern Maverick and southern Kinney County, we'll probably go ahead and sign off of the Facebook Live here.
But we'll monitor things closely for y'all. I know we still have the watch in effect through 10 p.m. for Barron and surrounding counties, so we'll watch to see if any thunderstorms misbehave over the next several hours here. Lexi Rose adding Andrew, it's confirmed your car is safe with a laughing emoji.
Yes, my car is safe. I'm happy.
Mine's in the garage, safe and sound.
Yeah, hers is in the garage back at home. So she's good, but yes, our stuff is safe, and I'm glad that all of our stuff in the San Antonio area.
Yeah, I was about to add that
for
too.
Today at least. Yesterday we had the larger hail move through, but today the hail much smaller. Great to hear.
So it looks like we had a new one come in. Now that storms have calmed down up in Kerr County, Ingram and Kerr County, reports of egg-size hail, about lime size too,
yeah,
2
that's
inches.
About lime size at 3:18 p.m. that report came in. So that's when the hail actually fell there. Now here's the thing, sometimes we get these hail reports well late, but at 3:18 p.m. they had hail that large in Kerr County at Ingram, Texas. So no hail there now, no storm activity there even, but that lets you know some of these storms today have packed a punch.
They have, and it really looks like they're beginning to weaken over Maverick County though.
Yeah, looking a lot better in Maverick County, and they just trimmed back that severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like they'll continue it now till 6:45, but they have trimmed it back big time, all the way up to right up against the border. But now, since they decided to just trim it back, this severe thunderstorm warning is going to likely continue until 6:45. So about 15 more minutes left on that one, and that's it. We don't have any other storms in our area. We do have some closer to the coast that are moving towards the coast, down towards Victoria, but that's about it.
Along the coastal bend, but we'll be monitoring conditions behind the scenes too. Again, a lot of us under that severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. It looks like the National Weather Service will also hang on to this watch, so they're going to hang on to it for another couple of hours here.
Yeah, so we'll watch that. Oh,
bless you.
I don't think I've ever sneezed on a Facebook Live. Got me though. Wow.
You typically sneeze twice, so is there another one?
No, there's not another one coming. But some of that dust may have been kicked up off the ground as we had the stronger winds pass through San Antonio earlier on, and had a little sneak up on me. But guys, we got one more severe thunderstorm warning left. That's again for southwest Kinney County. This does not include Brackettville, and western portions, northwest portions really of Maverick County. This does not include Eagle Pass, but Eagle Pass having a lot of rain and a lot of lightning activity right now in your area. And I'm going to zoom down to Eagle Pass to kind of show this.
Yeah, so getting really loud in Eagle Pass. Of course, they're right on the southern tier of this storm too, but again, we also have cloud-to-ground lightning traveling for miles. Look at La Pryor, for example.
Yeah, some rumbles of thunder in La Pryor too. This storm putting down 504 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. Now, that's covering a big area, but still, that's a ton of lightning. And a lot of these strikes are in Mexico. They're across the border. But it just lets you know it is quite a strong storm still, and impacting parts of our area. So heavy rain has been a big thing across our region. We do have minor flooding in parts of the Pedernales River. That's located up towards parts of Gillespie County, and it's in northern Blanco County. And that river typically impacts more of the Austin area. But Gillespie County does get some impacts from that just east of Fredericksburg. So we'll watch that. But again, not major flooding there, just minor flooding, just barely out of its banks.
I want to bring up velocity. Let's talk about this outflow because it looks like it's getting a little windy in some of our eastern counties. So Seguin down into Floresville, Gonzales, you guys will eventually have this outflow boundary move through.
Yeah, you see that little bit of a red line. Just barely, that just passed through Floresville, just passed through Seguin.
And I'll draw it out here.
Yeah, that's that outflow boundary passing through the region.
So, we had this outflow boundary move through much of Bexar County. We had wind gusts around, was it 42, 43 miles an hour recorded at the San Antonio airport. So, I mean, we could potentially have gusts up to 45 miles per hour. So, if it gets a little windier in your area, well ahead of some of these isolated showers, still right around the San Antonio area, it's because of that outflow boundary moving through.
Right. So just don't be surprised if it gets a little windy around the Nixon area, maybe even down to Kosciuszko. Kosciuszko may get a little bit of windy conditions, and then Nixon could have some windy conditions, and areas even further south into Karnes County may get some breezy conditions too.
So we'll zoom out and show you where, thunderstorms still are if you're just now joining us, mainly in extreme southern parts of Kinney County up into northwestern Maverick County, but even Eagle Pass, not under this severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like the heaviest hail cores and the stronger hail cores are into Mexico now.
Yeah, so the stronger part of the storm as a whole really now into Mexico. I'm keeping an eye on what the National Weather Service is having to say here, guys. Just getting a quick idea. Just a few small updates from them.
Just to see what they've said with this. Okay.
All right. Guys, we're just getting a quick update here, so just 1 second. All right, so yeah, maybe still a few more storms tonight, but definitely have had the atmosphere worked over is what they're saying by the areas where the outflow boundary has already passed through, like Bexar County and San Antonio, and like Kirk County, Real, Edwards, Valverde. Those spots, the atmosphere has already lost a lot of its energy, so additional storms in those spots not very likely, but further to the south, where the outflow boundary hasn't hit yet, we could see more storms spark up.
Right, and the outflow boundary has really impacted showers and storms that developed. I mean, it kind of, cut them off and made them weaken really quickly, too.
Are we clear in San Antonio for the rest of the night? My dog wants to know. Luke. Yes,
Luke.
You can take your dog out for a walk. Our dog is sitting at home right now wondering the same thing.
Yeah, we have to walk him too at some point here soon.
And honestly, once things quiet down here, we'll be able to go out and give him a little bit of a walk, because he's probably sitting at home with his head on the couch saying, when do I get to go out for a walk
where are
myself?
My parents at? I
yeah,
haven't
what
seen
is
my
this?
parents.
What's the deal? But yeah, Luke, you can take your dog out for a walk. Maybe a little bit of light showers. Don't be surprised by that. But as far as storms, Bexar County and San Antonio are fine right now.
I have a rain jacket for our dog, and it didn't work out. So
yeah, he does. he doesn't like to wear outfits.
I don't know why I buy them, but yeah. Let's see if there are any more updates here. Okay, they're not saying anything, but they are going to continue with this morning through 6:45.
Yeah, just because that storm is so close to that northwest corner of Maverick County, I'm willing to bet that they just want to continue the severe thunderstorm warning because there could still be a little bit of hail in that area. I mean, let's go ahead and bring up the hail tracker to get an idea. It looks like the hail is just on the other side of the border. Man, look at Eagle Pass dodging a bullet like that. They still can get some pea-sized hail in Eagle Pass, but much of the storms are going to stay on the other side of the border in Mexico. But
they're going to let this warning continue, which is a little surprising, just because it looks like the hail core has now moved into Mexico. But we'll see what they do with it. Time right now being 6:34.
And as we talk about Eagle Pass, we have a question about Eagle Pass. So let's talk about it a little bit more for our friends down that way. Still a lot of heavy rain expected for Eagle Pass. The closer to the border you are in Eagle Pass, the better chance you're going to have anywhere from pea to nickel-size hail. So that's the best answer I can give you.
And then Elm Creek receiving a lot of heavy rain and very noisy in that area. We have cloud-to-ground lightning extending all the way south of downtown Eagle Pass, too.
Yeah, a lot of lightning, very heavy rainfall. It's needed rainfall. We just wish we could get it without the severe risk. Don't worry, the hail core associated with this storm, if you're in Eagle Pass, is going to be staying on the other side of the border. This storm is moving more towards the south. If I put it into a little bit of a loop here, you'll see that. It's moving more towards the south, but still heavy rain moving over Elm Creek and the Eagle Pass area. So there's a severe thunderstorm warning just north of Eagle Pass. It is for northwest corners of Maverick County. It is because the storm has been really strong. And that's going to be until 6:45. So that severe thunderstorm warning still has about 10 minutes left on it.
We also have Eagle Pass is too windy right now. So yes, we do have a lot of high wind moving into the Eagle Pass area, but you were just saying, I mean, they dodged a bullet. It looks like the highest wind gust right now passing just west of Eagle Pass.
Yeah, staying on the Mexico side of the border. So that's good news. Not for our friends in Mexico, of course. If you have any family and friends in Mexico, maybe give them a phone call if they live just on the other side of the border near Eagle Pass. We're talking about the possibility for large hail. We're talking up to maybe lime-sized hail there on the other side of the border and damaging wind. Now, the National Weather Service, they don't issue any warnings there for Mexico. The National Weather Service here in the U.S. only issues warnings for the United States. So you may want to give your family and friends a call who may be on the other side of the border. Just let them know that large hail and damaging wind is possible there on the other side of the border from Eagle Pass.
We have Lexi saying, I feel bad for your storm track driver. I know he's tired of the traffic in Leon Springs.
Oh, yeah, goodness. He is headed back, though, now, I think, and hopefully he doesn't encounter too much more traffic as he heads back towards the station. Looks like the roads are dry now, too. And looks like it's smooth sailing for him. So we're ready to see him back here at the station pretty soon ourselves.
Daniel wants to know, is San Antonio expecting more storms for tonight? Well, we are under that watch through 10 p.m. We still have a chance to see some additional thunderstorms develop this evening, so we'll be watching that behind the scenes. I wanted to talk about Maverick County again, really for areas north of Eagle Pass up into Elm Creek. You guys could definitely get some high wind gusts up there, especially with the brighter pinks associated with this storm moving through. You know, Elm Creek and even Eagle Pass itself not under that severe thunderstorm warning, but still looking at pretty good wind gusts in the Elm Creek area.
Yeah, definitely.
Possibly up to 55 miles per hour, I'd say.
Yeah, really gusty winds. And this, is, by the way, is our last severe thunderstorm warning that we have issued at the moment. No other severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's actually zoom out, Megan, because I want to show the storm that's closer on over towards Gonzales. We do have another little storm near Gonzales, and emphasis on little. It's a tiny storm that's just has a significant weather advisory. Maybe had some pea-sized hail earlier on, but it looks like it's falling apart too.
It does, and I've turned on the hail tracker here, and we're not really seeing much of a hail core like we were. But the hail core, I mean, was only showing the light grays, which is pea size, maybe even up to nickel size at times. But really not all that impressed with that little storm there.
Yeah, so not much of an issue for Luling, not much of an issue for Gonzales, but don't be surprised if you get a little bit of rain outside. Yeah, and that's about it, guys. We're not seeing much more out there. I do want to show a few things before we start to wrap things up, because that's what we are about to do here in a moment. Once that severe thunderstorm warning expires, we're going to take a little bit of a break here behind the scenes. When something else does become severe warned, we'll of course hop back on here. You'll get an alert on your phone. Make sure that you have us on Facebook. Of course, ways you like the page, you follow us so you can get updates whenever we're live. Make sure that you have that KENS 5 app so that you can get push alerts on your phone to get updates. Make sure you have you look out on our website. We're live on our website, and also on YouTube. We're live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we'll have updates, of course, whenever there are any storms passing through.
Exactly. So you were showing the watch that's still in effect until 10 p.m. We'll be watching if any thunderstorms try to pop up again. But really, it's just this lonely severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, that's kind of just hugging right along the Mexico-United States border. The stronger part of the storm is across the border, not impacting Eagle Pass, the stronger part of the storm, that is, but the storm is impacting Eagle Pass because we have strong winds. We have a lot of lightning, and we also have some heavy rain in the Eagle Pass area at the moment, possibly even a little bit of pea-sized hail. So now, if that storm does intensify closer to Eagle Pass, we'll, of course, continue to keep you updated here, but again, it looks like even all of the hail may be staying on the Mexico side of the border.
Looks like more of lightning, heavy rain, and a wind threat closer to Eagle Pass and Elm Creek that we were showing.
Yeah, lots of lightning with the storm. It's been very electric. If we go ahead and put a counter on that lightning, let's see how much lightning's happened in the last 15 minutes.
Bet a lot.
A lot of this lightning has been in Mexico, keep in mind. But
635.
yeah, that's a ton of lightning, guys. So a very electric storm again that's been kind of dipping down to the southwest through the very, very southwest corner of Kinney County, not including Brackettville, and then northwest Maverick.
So we have a little bit, we have about 4 minutes on this warning here.
And we got a question for Tilden. Tilden, right now nothing, Robin. Everything's pretty quiet off towards your area. Much of the thunderstorm activity has stayed off to your north and west, but you could get a little bit of storms here later on tonight. We're going to keep a close eye out for that. And excuse me, you could also get some light to moderate shower activity later tonight too.
Thank you, Anna. We appreciate that.
Yeah, you know, we're both really excited. Of course,
Yeah.
meteorologist Megan Massey is my fiance. We've been together for 8 years.
Craziness.
So we've known each
Time
other.
flies.
We've known each other long before we got to Ken's 5 here together.
Yeah.
But we've been together 8 years, and you know, we're really excited. Next fall, we're planning to get
That's what we're
married.
aiming for.
So, really excited. Thank you so much.
And Robin, you're welcome.
We do have a severe thunderstorm warning there. Is that going to be Port Lavaca area, southeast of Victoria? I believe that's where it is. Yeah, there it is, Port Lavaca. So severe thunderstorm warning in Port Lavaca at the moment. This is well outside the Kent's 5 viewing area.
Yeah.
But, you know, just if you have friends or family down that way, maybe give them a phone call. Probably gusty winds, maybe even a little bit of hail for their region. This is moving away from us. This is moving. It's going to be moving offshore.
Also, sea drift could see some isolated shower activity too.
Yeah.
A lot of lightning with those storms, though, especially
man.
right over Port Lavaca.
Yeah, powerful storms out their way, and all those storms, again, starting to move offshore. We still have a little bit of a shower and storm going towards Gonzales, but honestly, thunderstorm, lightning activity has really gone down there. And we have a little bit of a storm that's in southeast Kinney County that's trying to hold on there, but it does look like it's starting to fall apart as well. Maybe a few lightning strikes near Uvalde itself.
Exactly. In Brackettville, you guys could see, you know, this brief shower heading in your direction. Not much lightning associated with that storm, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a tiny storm, too. So they've let that severe thunderstorm warning go in Maverick County, but still pretty noisy in Eagle Pass, and also moving from into the border there, too. But, man, that hail core thankfully moved just west of them.
Yeah, thank goodness. And, guys, with all that being said, with no more severe warnings in South Texas, we're going to leave you with a look at the viewing area as a whole to let you know where some of the showers and storms are. Maybe a little shower southeast of Tilden, well southeast, but that's not too much of a concern. Guys, we're going to continue to monitor this behind the scenes. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember to follow us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, download the Kent's 5 app, and we'll keep you updated.
And we'll see you later.
Yep, remember, severe thunderstorm watch, though, until 10 p.m.